we're back. That's right. It is Monday, April the 19th, 2021, 7:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name's Dave McRae, coming to you live from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. He's Tony Michael in Atlanta, Georgia. This is episode 108 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. Tonight we're watching the remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street from 2010, starring Jackie Earle Haley and Rooney Mara. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live! Episode 108, the remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street from 2010. Wherever you are around the world, thank you for joining us here tonight. Corey Dean, masterpiece. You may be right. Tony, great to see you. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. How's things going up there in good old Canada?
Well, we are locked down. I mean, the province of Ontario. The province of Ontario is locked down, and it's a shit show right now up here in Ontario.
We're about to experience a shit show here in the next few days.
Yeah, it's things are shut down, things are locked down, people are freaking out, ICUs are up apparently, and doctors are losing it. I mean, if you literally watch the news up here, you'd think the apocalypse has started. I don't mean any disrespect to anything. I just say that that's what it's like. It is insane, right? It's as if nothing has changed at all. Like things are shut down. It's like, you know, when I look at Texas
they'll
and
be
Florida, and it's
burning
like
shit down this weekend.
The fuck? I mean, people are like, I look at Florida and people are like on the beach, vacationing at Disney World, and I'm just like, and what the fuck? And I can't even go down to the street and get a donut. I mean,
and they've got
I don't know what's going on.
And now they just reported they've got the lowest cases.
Florida does? Florida? Well, that doesn't. Yeah,
they got the low. Well, that's because they maxed out. I mean, he took care of all the elderly people, and everybody who's young, pretty much, I think, has gotten it. So now that's why their numbers are starting to take a dip and go down the other way, because he never shut down. He kept things normal, and that's that.
Yeah, well, and the thing that sucks, of course, being up here in Toronto, I mean, it's like, well, you know, being from Connecticut, I mean, you know, once you hit April and you start moving into May, it's like, well, hang on a sec here. We don't want our summer to go. I mean, you know, when you live in a place that gets 4 seasons, I mean, you know, your nice months are May, June, July, August, and then when it hits September, you're I mean, not that September, October isn't nice either, but you start I mean, you know, the cold weather is not too far behind. So right now we're locked down, and we're locked down till the middle of May, and it's kind of like, and then of course they'll reassess at May, and what does that mean? And then if we're still in this situation where they're going to keep us locked down to the middle of June, it's kind of like, hang on a sec here. You know, it's not like we live in California where it's summer all year, every day. We kind of want a summer. Anyways, it's insane up here. But that is not what you tuned in to listen to. I don't care, McRae. Sucker. We are watching A Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake. I did see this in the movie theater. I saw it by myself. It's funny what you remember. I remember it was playing at a theater near where I lived at the time, and I went over to Sport Check. I don't think you guys have them in the States. I think that's a Canadian brand. It's like a sports store, and Sport Check. And I went in and I bought an Oakley baseball cap. I needed a new cap. That's right, folks. I've been wearing caps for years. And I was like, I bought an Oakley cap, and then I went over to the theater and I watched A Nightmare on Elm Street, and I walked out and I threw up in the trash can beside me because I was so disappointed. No, I didn't. I didn't know that. Blood Red Sky says, damn, Canada getting it now. No, Canada's, I don't know where you've been, Blood Red Skies, but we've been right there along. The pandemic has been up here since the get-go. So we're actually in our third wave in Ontario. That's how ridiculous it's been. It's crazy. But anyway, so, yeah, the remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street, and a few people have messaged me. I saw even in the community section, I got a couple of DMs who was like, why are you watching that? And I'm like, oh, hang on a sec. Okay, so you're going to question why we're watching Elm Street in 2010, but you don't question why we watch Halloween 5? For God's sakes, people! Tony and I like to watch...
Or Friday 13th remake, right. Or... Yeah. It's a horror film. It's a remake, horror film. there we go.
And
we're meeting the criteria of what we're supposed to do.
We watch not everything, but we watch, it doesn't matter. I mean, we want to watch this movie. I mean, I haven't seen this movie in years, actually, to be honest with you. So
I saw it once.
I think that was the same. I saw it in the theater, and I remember, enjoying Rooney Mara's, easy on the eyes, although she's very emo in this movie, but I mean, she's playing, but certainly I think she's, attractive. And so, I enjoyed that part of it, I guess. That's about it.
Well, it's like I said before we went live, I would have preferred them to make this movie its own, you start I'll repeat what I said before we went live. If you take the comparisons of Tobe Hooper's Texas Chainsaw Massacre and then the Jessica Biel 2003 remake, they're two different movies, but with the same tone of what the Tobe Hooper set back in 74 of this fucking crazy family that lives out in the middle of fucking Texas. Yeah. Okay. Same thing, but they're two different. And I think if Nightmare had done that, and Jackie, what's his name, who played Freddy?
Jackie Earle Haley.
I don't think he got a fair shake, because I think he was given at times they were trying to hit the Wes Craven mark, like they do the tub scene here, and it's just like, you didn't need to do that. You should have made this movie stand on its own, have its own identity, and give this, because I think he would have been a decent Freddy if he had been given better material to work with, and if the movie was better presented to the audience. I think he could have had a good run with the character for like 2 or 3 films, but clearly, obviously, it did shitty at the box office, and I didn't see it in theaters. We rented it. Yeah. And I remember like halfway through looking at Devin and my girlfriend, like, this fucking sucks. Like, this is bad. Like, and I don't usually say that, like, right. And I didn't even say that with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. With Rob Zombie, I tend to give him a pass because I just always somehow do that with him. But I'm like looking at them like, are you guys like and like, no, dude, it's this is bad. Like, well, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, and the thing with Rob Zombie, and I've said this too. I mean, I always do my best on this channel to remove my emotional attachment to things and look at things logically. And look, I give credit where credit is due. Rob Zombie didn't go out and make the same movie. He made a different movie. Now, 2 is very different from Halloween 2 from 81. But I mean, he did make it his own. It's just not my style. I don't like Rob Zombie. Really, in the big picture, I don't like him as a filmmaker. Because I find he makes the same movie over again. In terms of that white trash hit kind of thing. Like, and that's fine if you want to live in that. But he kind of makes the same thing, and he made Halloween white trash. So I didn't like that. But it just wasn't for me. But you give credit, but he didn't go out and just remake it. Right. With Elm Street from 2010, I think Jackie Earle Haley gets a bad rap. I don't think he was. No, he's not.
Unfair bad rap.
Right. He's not Robert Englund. His approach was not Robert Englund, but everything about the approach was maybe a little more, I don't want to say realistic, Jesus, but more grounded perhaps. I mean, even the makeup, right? It's more of an authentic burn victim, rather than sort of not comical. Well, it was by Freddy's Dead, but more of the theater kind of makeup. Like, so, and Jackie Earle Haley was a good, I mean, he's a guy about my size. I think he's about 5'8", actually. So although I thought the glove on him looked quite big, I thought maybe if they had scaled the glove down a little bit, I don't know. That's my recollection of it. I'll pay attention to it when I see it here, but I remember the glove looked quite big on him. But nonetheless, I don't think he is the worst part of the movie. I think he did fine.
Not at all. I think what he was given, he did a great job.
But one of the problems I remember, and I recall this, and maybe I'm wrong, and we're going to watch here in a second, folks. Thanks for bearing with us as we normally sort of, give a little brief on our thoughts before we start the movie we're watching. One of the things that I recall, maybe I'm wrong because it's been years since I've seen it, but I remember one of the problems I think that the movie had was in the original film, and it's not like it's a deep drama where you have all this time for character development. You don't. But outside of Tina, we are introduced to Nancy and, you know, and Rod and Glenn and we sort of see them, although they're having dreams already, we see them somewhat normal. Like we see the transition of these characters into Freddy's sort of world, in the sense of we see the downfall, we see the arc. Whereas when we're introduced to Nancy in this movie, she's very emo and everything's very dark already.
My issue was when I first, now that you're saying that,
it's
I remember
just so dark right out off the gate, and it's like almost Tim Burton-ness.
And I didn't realize when they remade this that they were literally remaking it, like the same characters and shit. And I was like, why? Like, we already had, like, Nancy for me will always be Heather. You know what I mean? It's like, don't touch the character. Don't. Tina, and I've said this many times, my favorite kill in all of horror is the original Elm Street. Tina's death.
Actually,
there's no. It's iconic. It's perfect. You don't even see Freddy. I mean, like, everything about what Wes Craven did with, I want to say Amanda Wise is the actress's name.
Yeah, Wise.
Who played
like
Tina? It's
Weiss,
Amanda something. Mm-hmm. But anyways, what they created in 1984, and that's, or 3, whenever they filmed it, in that scene, it's perfect. So when this movie came out, I thought it was going to be Chainsaw. You know what I mean? I thought it was going to be like, okay, cool, they're rebooting Elm Street. But when I saw that they like you said, they're going with the Nancy emo approach, I'm like, why? Why are you using characters that have, like, just give us something new? Well, it's hard to get. I think if they had switched that and given us new characters with a new arc and whatnot, not Freddy arc, but new character arcs. I'm not saying it would have been better, but
no, but it may have been, because there's just, and again, the original Elm Street, it's it's not like it's this deep drama, but there's just enough of a window. There's just enough of a window at the beginning of the movie where you see them together, like that scene on the sidewalk. It's a bright sunny day. You know, they're walking along the sidewalk and Rod comes up and there's Tina and they fuck off, Rod, you know, and we kind of, and now they're already having the dreams, but it's not there yet. You know what I mean? It's not like hardcore yet. Like, well, for Tina, it kind of is, but you know, it's not like it's really, you know what I mean? And there's just enough of a window that we can see their personalities, we can see their interactions, we can see the fun sort of teenager-ish kind of there, just a little bit, not a lot, just a smidgy, for us to kind of like the characters. They're more likable, right? Heather's more likable. You know, we kind of get into this thing. Whereas my recollection of this Elm Street, maybe I'm wrong, we're gonna watch the movie here in a second, maybe I'll be like, oh fuck, I was completely wrong. But my recollection is that we're already thrust sort of right into this, like right where Elm Street from '84 would be, like maybe 60 minutes in. Like, we're already sort of thrust there, and it's like, I don't care about these characters. I want to.
Right? Yeah.
I want to care about.
You're saying this. Everything's starting to, because it's been 11 years since I've seen this movie.
I want to care about her. I want to care about Nancy. I want to care about her friends, but they're already gone. Like, I'm disconnected from them emotionally, and I needed to be. Even if you just took 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and we were introduced to non-emo Rooney Mara, and she was happy, and you know, and whatever, and hey, what's going on? And then we see that arc. We feel for her. Then we're connected. That's my recollection.
Right,
that's one of the issues I had.
No, you're absolutely right, because when you look at the original Elm Street, although we don't get a lot of screen time with her, we get enough to build an attachment to the character of Tina in the first film.
Correct.
You know, because she's in the opening act, you know, or the opening sequence in the very first dream. You know, and then she has her little bit at school, and then she's at the house at night and they're hanging out, and then she's done. But even in that brief, you know, 5 to 10 minutes of the film that she's in, it's an impactful 5 to 10 minutes, and you care about, like, yes, you're right. Everything in this film, it's like, yeah, whatever. Like,
yeah,
you know
well,
I mean?
It's because we're already thrust into, we don't know we're already there and expected to feel for these characters. That's what I remember, but we'll see. Hey, let's start this thing.
Let's do it.
We are paused.
I'm watching it on HBO Max because they got it there for free.
I'm watching it on YouTube. I'm 5 seconds paused in. New Line Cinema is just about to come up onto the screen. That's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. This is A Nightmare on Elm Street from 2010, the remake, not the '84 original, just in case somebody completely missed the title here. Here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you're right, with the bathroom scene, there's nothing about that was so well done in the 84 original. It's so iconic, but it's so well done in the 84 original. How can you do it better? Like, what can you do? So
you can't.
You can't. So if it were me, I would say, okay, we want to recreate and put our own spin on the bathroom scene. Okay, well, what can we do that's paying homage but making it our own? Can we extend it further? Maybe instead of the glove,
I would have had her just doing a shower.
100%. Well, that might be a little too much like Psycho, but I get your point. Touche. But what about instead of the glove?
Even do it.
Or not even do it, but I'm just saying, what about instead of just the glove, maybe he himself rises out of the tub. You know what I mean? Or his shoulders come out of the tub.
It's putting a different spin
on it, right? I'm not saying that would work. Some people would go, oh, come on, how does she not wake up from that? And it's like, well, listen, if that's your base point of logic, you could please, I mean, come on. But it's that kind of thing. You literally just did the same thing. And it's like, well, but it looks, there's no, I don't get it. If you're going to recreate an iconic scene, okay, but try to add your own spin to it somehow. I don't mean it doesn't have to be this crazy spin, but something that makes it your own and unique. And if it succeeds, wonderful. If it doesn't, well, that's okay too. But I agree with that. I think there was.
Yeah, I would have I would have avoided the tub scene entirely. There's just no need. That still image. I mean, I've got an autograph there with Heather and Robert's autograph on that. That still image of Nancy sleeping in the tub and the glove rising up.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's such an iconic still shot, or just in a moment in horror cinema that to go back to try, like, I would have just left it alone and be 100%. Like, we don't need to do it. We just don't.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree.
That's what I think they need to do with this franchise, is that if you're going to give Nightmare a rebirth, start fresh. I'm not saying you need to change Freddy's origins. I'm just saying give us new characters. Start fresh, start from scratch, and whatever. Set the movie in the fucking 90s. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, fuck.
Yep. And I don't mind this opening, actually. I think it's actually
the opening dream.
Yeah, the opening dream I think is all right. Because, I mean, we do know that in the original it opened on, a dream as well. Yep. Of course. So there's nothing wrong with this.
I think it's just the casting, too. I wasn't really all like... The casting was all right. I mean, outside of the guy who plays Freddy.
Yeah, and maybe... Although in the original you do know she's dreaming out of the gate, but here's your opportunity to do something a bit different, right? Why don't you start, it's a dream, but it doesn't look like right now we know he's dreaming. We know because of the vibe, we know because of the presentation, we know he's dreaming. But what if they did something where we didn't know he was dreaming? And then it becomes a surprise and a shock to us when we find out that he is. You know what I mean? Like, what if the place is full of people? What if there's a vibe of happiness and everything's fine? And then it changes all of a sudden on a dime, something like that. That's a bit, so you're still starting it with a dream, but you're making it your own, and you're making the contrast more like, whoa, holy shit, I thought actually this was actually real life for a moment. No, he's actually dreaming.
They're going, and I'm already noticing too, this is definitely 2010 because they're going with that tealing blue tone that was popular around every movie was doing.
You still see it from time to time, but there were a lot of movies in the 2000s.
In that short little run, there was a lot of movies doing that type of color tone.
Yeah, they just color graded their picture into this teal, orange, aqua. I don't know why.
I don't know either.
There he is.
Yeah, like I said, it's interesting how they're in. They're not going the same route with Tina. Where Tina's the first one we see in the original Elm Street. It's this dude. I mean, it was interesting.
Yeah, and I don't think that. I think the introduction of Freddy could have been better.
Sure.
I think the introduction of Freddy there was sort of. You know what I mean? Uneventful.
Yeah.
I think the introduction of Freddy was uneventful. I think when you have an iconic character, one of the most iconic characters in the history of cinema, and in the history of cinema, because Freddy, people like Freddy Krueger or Michael Myers, Jason, yes, they are, three of the most iconic horror characters, but there are certain characters that transcend their own genres. And Freddy Krueger would be one of those people that transcends his own genre. He's a pop culture icon in many ways. And I think when you have an opportunity to reintroduce the character to a new generation and through a reboot and a remake. Now, of course, you have some people there. I would think of something better than that. I might play with his silhouette. It's a classic thing. Maybe he's at the end of the hall and he steps out and you see his silhouette and it's like, oh shit, there he is. Just being introduced to the glove right away. Just, I don't know. It's uneventful. It's not terrible. It's just uneventful.
Dude, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe someone in the chat room. Cause I'm trying to, this dude looks so like the guy who was having the dream and then he woke up. Was he in Twilight?
I have no idea.
Because it's not this dude. This dude was in Smallville. He was the Flash in Smallville. The kid with the beanie on that Nancy's talking to.
Isn't that Glenn?
He was the Flash. Is that Glenn?
I have no idea. All I know is that Rooney Mara here. That's her, right? Yeah, that's Rooney. Rooney. But I remember thinking
that other dude. Like I've seen his face before.
I don't know. He looks like every other dude around that age. Hey man, what's going on? I'm a dude.
Well, we were around that age when this movie came out.
Well, really?
It's 10 years. We're like 29.
Well, yeah, but they're not 20. He's not 29.
He's probably in his mid 20s at this point. Maybe. They're playing a teenager.
In 2010? No, we were 31.
11 years ago? Oh yeah, we were.
You're older than you think.
After 40, I stopped doing the math.
That's true.
You're like, fuck it.
He looks like, to me, he looks like, how old is this guy? I'm going to look this guy up.
Well, I know this dude definitely was in his mid 20s because he was doing the earlier stuff on Smallville. He did a couple episodes as the Flash, like in the earlier seasons.
I think his name is.
Oh, he was. Okay, yeah.
Kyle?
A couple people in the chat room said that guy who was dreaming was in Twilight. I think he was the jacked vampire, like the muscle guy.
He's not. He doesn't play.
He's not Edward. He's not the lead.
No, and he's not playing Glenn. He plays a kid named Kyle in this movie. And yes, he was only 24 when this movie came out.
So mid 20s. Okay.
Yeah, so we're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 7 years older than him.
Yeah. So we're in that same generation-ish.
He's a millennial. We're not, though, so I don't know.
We barely made Gen X. Okay,
it's true.
We barely made it by the skin of our asses.
But some people like to say that Gen X stops at like 80. It's like, no. Listen, no. There are people just like to slip it in there because when you go back and you look at the traditional sort of way, baby boomers are 45 to
but he sucks.
Baby boomers are 45 to about 64 or 5. And then you have Gen X, which is about 65 to about, I'd say like 83, 84, somewhere in there. Then and some people, no, according to the computer, it says, I don't look at the fuck the computer says. Because it doesn't, millennials would be probably like 84 to 97 or 8, somewhere around there. And then you get your Generation Ys, I think.
Homie already
or
fell asleep.
2001, maybe. He's falling asleep. And they wasted no time in actually letting you see him.
She keeps saying Dean.
I guess his name is Dean. Yeah, look at that gore. Yeah, it does nothing for me. A nightmare on... it's just... do you want to know what it is? That
was not a good way to bring Freddy on.
It's just... there's nothing eventful about it. It's just...
It's a kill. It's a kill that you could have saved more to like midway into the movie.
It's just not a good kill.
I don't mind it if it was like midway in the film, like halfway.
I understand, but how many times have we seen somebody slitting the throat? It's not me. It's somebody who's got a hold of me. It's been done so many times. Try something different. Like maybe he's picked up in the fucking diner and he's thrown through the window in the diner and he goes out onto the road. And as he's rolling onto the road, a transport truck hits him. His body explodes. And then Freddy Krueger's in the truck going, ha 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 ha.
So we're back to campy Freddy again.
Well, I'm just saying, would you want that or would you want...
I didn't mind it. I thought the kill was good. I just thought the kill was too early. I thought something like that should have been done more towards
This is the best thing in the entire movie right there. The young girl with the fucking...
Yeah, the kid with the slash, like that's kind of creepy. There's moments in this film that if you edit the film, like re-edit the movie, like if you took that beginning sequence and put it in the middle of the movie, you know what I mean, and take this and put this in the middle of the movie and maybe rearrange it around, it might actually be a decent flick.
Maybe there needs to be the Tony cut.
The Tony cut.
The Tony cut. A Nightmare on Elm Street. The Tony cut.
Oh, this guy's in this flick.
Yeah, he's the mean guy in Shawshank Redemption.
He's also the dickhead in Pet Sematary 2.
Yes, I think you are correct.
He plays a good dickhead.
He does. Yeah. That's what it says that's what it will say on his tombstone.
Release the Tony cut.
here lies the greatest dickhead of all time.
Well, you know, Matthew McConaughey, when he dies, is going to be all right.
Or it's going to say that, and then underneath it, it'll say, I'm just going to take off my shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Lordy. And of course, now one thing I did find interesting, and again, it's because the foundation of Freddy Krueger is not that it can't be, or not that you couldn't make it this way and have it very effective, but we know the backstory and the foundation of Freddy is not like Michael Myers, right? You have to keep that in mind. Is that Freddy's backstory and where he comes from and who he is and what, doesn't rely on ambiguity for his character to be effective. Now, that doesn't mean that if you did create a character like Freddy and kept his backstory ambiguous, that it wouldn't be effective or maybe even more effective. That's possible. But we know so much about him. We know he was a child murderer. We know he's from this and that. And he's done, he was burned alive in a boiler. We know all that before this movie was even made. So, but we never saw it. Well, I mean, I know there's later Elm Street films.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't they show a flashback sequence in this movie though?
But that's what I'm saying. So I remember when I first saw the trailer for this movie back in 2010 or 9 or whatever it was. And it opens with him running around the corner and he's in that Freddy sweater. I remember that. And he's like, no, please, no. And then he goes into this room and he's like, yeah, Krueger, come on, Krueger. And he's in this like, stop, what's going on? And then as he's burning, he's taking off that shirt or whatever. I remember going, I like that. That's because it's not reliant. I don't need that ambiguous to me for his character to be effective because we already know about it anyway. We know that's what happened. So I thought that was new. That was interesting. And I thought it was fairly well done in this movie.
I do like the fact that they didn't try to do the exact same house as Nancy, but it looks like the same house as Nancy's from the original Elm Street. I thought that was clever on the, whoever, went around and was looking for, sets, on location shots to do. And they found that house. I was like, that's smart because it does give you the hint of the original Elm Street, but it's not trying to totally. And again, that's where there's moments. See, like here, I think this is cool. Like it's a callback. We all know.
It's cool, but
it gets a little.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it gets a little 3D animation. I would have done what they did in the original Elm Street. Is I would have done the latex. I think it was latex that they used or elastic or whatever it was. It was a very, very simple material, and they just had Robert go. I don't even think it was Robert. They had somebody do that, and then he pulls back. But creative, you know what I mean? Like, but they kept doing that throughout this whole film, man. It was just like, okay, we got the wall scene. Okay, now we're gonna get the tub scene. It's just like this movie is trying to stand on one leg by reliving moments that were iconic in the '84 film, but at the same time trying to find its own identity, and it never landed.
Well, and not only that, I mean, I agree with everything you've said. But again, do you feel anything watching this? Like when I watched that scene just now with him coming out of the wall,
watching 2.5 Men right now.
We're like barely 15 minutes into this movie, And everything is so somber and dark and, melancholy and just sort of like emo. And it's like, Nancy, listen, as I said, when I was watching this movie in the theater, I was like, Rooney Mara is really cute. And she's easy on the eyes, and I don't mind watching, an hour and a half of her, fine. But her character is
emo, a really big thing back then too.
Well, but I'm saying it in the sense, but her character is so unlikable. She just doesn't smile. She doesn't. It's because all these people you're seeing are already like deep into their fucking dreams of Freddy, and we don't get to see them in a stage of their life. We don't get to see the downfall and the turn where we can like them. So I don't feel anything. I just feel like I'm watching a sequence of events. I feel like I'm reading a newspaper art. I'm disconnected. I'm just like, okay, I'm reading this about these people. I'm like, oh, that's too bad. Oh, that sucks. I mean, already she sits on her bed. She's unlikable. She's sitting there. She's not doing anything. She's sitting there, and then the glass kind of goes and this weird CGI thing comes out of the wall. Then it does okay. It does nothing for me. And I hate to say that because I wanted this movie to be good. There was an opportunity here, but there's nothing. There's no feeling. It's just scene after scene of dark and I don't feel anything for these characters. I just don't feel anything.
Well, I mean, I will say in defense, to some of that, like, we didn't really get much of an arc with Rod in the first film. I mean, he comes in there when they show up at school, then he shows up at night and has sex with Tina, and then he runs away and he gets caught by the cops and he hangs himself in jail. No,
it's true, but the point I'm making is that we see their story develop. Right now, we're just seeing these people just continuing to discover. What's the word? What's I'm trying to say? So it's like, we open in the original with Tina. She has her dream.
Like they're picking up in the second act.
Right.
Not the first act.
That's a good way of describing it. It feels like we're being thrust into the middle of something, and I just don't feel anything. I need to go back. I need to see how these characters got there. And you're right. As I said earlier, I'm not saying that the original had this wonderful, half hour of all this character development. That's not what I'm saying. But there was enough of a window where we could get attached to, we saw them fooling around. There's that scene where they're having the sleepover and
sure.
and Glenn's calling home. Yeah, Mom, it's just me. Woo! No, Mom, that's just somebody outside, and the girls are laughing. And we see them being teenagers. We don't see that here. Like, here we are again. We're not even fucking 20 minutes of the movie, and Freddy's already fucking. It's like, what are we doing? Like, there's no nuance. It's just boom, 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 boom. And it's like, I don't care. I just don't care. I need to have some sort of, like, slow down a little bit. There's no rush. Slow it down. Build to Freddy.
So that blonde's name is Chris, not Tina.
Is it Chris?
Okay. Chris.
I think she dies off a house into the pool or something. I can't remember. Something like that.
There's the Flash wearing his beanie.
Why even call this guy or Rooney Mara Nancy then? I mean, if nobody else takes on the name of Glenn, Rod, or Tina, then just call her Julie. Oh no, don't call her Julie. People think of, I know you did last summer. Call her like, or call her Heather.
Heather.
Something like that.
Yeah, that would have been fine. Actually, that's not a bad idea. If you're going to reboot the franchise, you should name the lead actress in the film or the character. You should name her Heather.
Yeah.
Nice wink and nod to the original.
Yeah. Maybe it's Heather Thompson.
There you go.
Maybe something like that. Anyway, again, it's just, and here we go. We're gonna have another dream. Like Jesus Christ, what the hell are we? We're not even we're not even 20 minutes in. We're 19 minutes here, and already here we go again. Like, I mean, there's no nuance. It feels, and now again, unless it may be a pacing issue. I'd have to go back and watch the original. And if 20 minutes in, we've already had Freddy like 4 times and, a kill and almost 2 kills with 3 different characters. And maybe we do. I admit. But then that tells me it's a pacing issue. And it's a difference there. I'd have to go back and watch the original again. But I feel just like, oh God, here we go. And then it's gonna cut and she's gonna be in a classroom with all this snow falling or whatever. Yeah, see here, I don't feel cool. This doesn't do anything for me. Looks cool, but Jesus, you're showing this scene 20 minutes, not even 20 minutes in? What the fuck? This looks like something that
And
should
the
happen.
dream's not even creepy, because, and I'll tell you why. It has a bit of a Saw feel to it.
It does.
And what made the original Elm, for example, what makes the Nancy dream in school, when there's a couple things that Wes did very well and executed very well when creating that scene. One, having the kid whisper or soft speak when he's reading from the book. Okay. So you just hear him faintly in the background.
It's nuanced.
And it's reality. It's not like she's still in school. Nothing really has changed. It didn't go into this whole other world like this chick just went into, which looked like straight out of Saw. And I think, to me, that's creepier. You know what I mean? Like, although, like, abandoned place, believe me, I love shooting in the abandoned places that I do when I create the Freddy photos. But when it's set more in a realistic setting, like a classroom, like Nancy was in the original Elm Street, and she sees Tina outside the door, that shit's fucking creepy.
Well, and to your point, Tony, here's the thing. We've seen Freddy so much already in this movie that we have to remember, in the original, you don't have to have Freddy in it all the time, and every time somebody falls asleep. Freddy's the guy you meet at the end. Okay, I don't mean at the end of the movie. I mean,
no running in the hall. That wasn't Freddy. I mean, right. It was voiced over.
That's what I'm talking about. You know, Nancy there, or Tina there, you know, in the body bag. Hey, Nancy, no running in the hallways. You know what I mean? Right. And it's like, Freddy's not even in that sequence at all. Nope. And so I just don't show him so much. I mean, already she falls asleep in the classroom, and there's Jackie, you know, there he is. And how many times have we seen him now? Like 6 already? We're not even 25 minutes into this movie, and we're seeing him. In the original Elm Street, he was in shadow and low-key lighting, and there and not there, and, you know, it was really kind of really creepy. This is all, I just feel like every time somebody falls asleep, he's the guy you meet. He's there, and there in all his glory. And it's like, whoa, maybe when she felt, but that's also because, you know, you had an opportunity that when Tina died, Nancy was having a dream because she feels guilty about, and then there's, you know, her in the body bag, and you can play it that way. And there's no character development here. It's just girls having dreams, and you put Freddy in those dreams. But if you built a little bit of an arc with the characters, you could have somebody, because dreams are about your subconscious, and you can have like, again, that scene when Nancy is in the classroom. Tony is bang on with this. When Nancy falls asleep and she looks over, Tina or Nancy.
Right,
Nancy.
Tina, and the kid is still whispering, reading in the background. Yep.
Nancy the reason why she's dreaming of Tina is because she feels guilty. And there's her friend right there in the body bag. Help me. And then all of a sudden she's like, Tina? And she gets up and she looks, and there's the body bag at the end of the hall being dragged away, you know, and she's like, Tina, you know, and she starts running, and, you know, running after her, and then she bumps into that girl, and hey, no running in the hallways, you know, and it's not even Freddy. You know, Freddy takes forms because it's your subconscious. Your subconscious is interpreting certain things, right, in certain ways for certain reasons. But because we don't know these characters very well, even on a small scale like we did in the original film, like, you almost have to have Freddy in here, because if you play into her we don't know what she's thinking or feeling. Like, we don't know what could you show in a dream that the audience would understand, you know, through symbolism, essentially, right? So you don't necessarily have to have Freddy all the time every 5 seconds. You can have something else. You know, you could have her mom show up and go, I told you right now that you're not, and it's really Freddy, you know what I mean? Or, you know, whatever the case is, and you don't see that. You just see Freddy. Anyways, hopefully I'm intellectualizing that for you guys. I feel like I could do a better job, but that's one of the things that I find. It's just the pacing is just so, it's not nuanced. We're not slowing it down a little bit and allowing the film to breathe and just, you know, you don't need to have a dream sequence every 6 minutes. I mean, you know, it's, yeah. And now, like, I don't feel anything. She's talking, I had this crazy dream. And like, I feel as much for this as I do if I was in college and I met a girl And it was like
or maybe the dream sequences are not bad, but less Freddy in the dream sequences. You know, kind of like in the original, you know what I mean? Because like in the original, you open up with Tina and it's a dream sequence.
But it seems like there's no point for the dreams. Like it seems like there's
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. In this film, there's no point. But whereas if they had done less Freddy and maybe alluded to some like weird shit that these kids can't figure out, like why is this happening? What the fuck's going on?
Well, yeah, that would certainly help. That would certainly help. And you also play
the build up to Freddy, like these, you know, kind of, because that's what I think that's what made the original so great, is that Tina and Nancy and Rod even had the dreams, because he makes the comment after Tina and Rob have sex, he's like, guys can have, you know, bad dreams too.
Right.
And I think even Glenn had a bad dream, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
When they're walking up to school, doesn't Johnny Depp say something, or like he alluded to having a dream about Freddy? I can't remember now off the top of my head what his dialogue was.
I can't remember either.
But anyways, they all were having sketchy type dreams and couldn't figure out why.
Well,
it seems like they kind of know what's going on. Like you're saying, at this point, there's no buildup for like these. They know that some dude is after them. Whereas if they had made it more,
that's it,
like weird shit, like why is this fucking happening? I don't get it. What the fuck's going on?
That's it. And you always bring up a good point too. Think about this. We've already seen one kill already. Now to be fair, we didn't see Freddy do it because it switched back to the real world, but we knew Freddy was doing it because we saw him with the knife in the hand, or the guy's arm, and he's helping him. Like, it's just, think of the kills in the original Elm Street. Tina, you never see Freddy.
And you never see
Glenn,
Freddy penetrate someone with the glove.
You never see Freddy penetrate anybody with that glove. You just see cuts happening. Not in the first film. You just see cuts happening. Glenn, you don't see anything. He just gets sucked into the bed and a fountain
into the bed.
of blood.
Rod gets hung.
Now you see Freddy walk into the jail though. But that's what I mean. It just seems more nuanced and just allows time to breathe a little bit. Oh God, here he comes again.
See, like this shot is cool though. I will say
it's a cool shot. It's a cool shot.
For a photo shoot, it would look great.
Sure. Now, you know what would be great is if that's all you see. I don't know what happens here. I don't remember. Okay, so she's now in the school. Now, let's not see Freddy for a bit. We saw him there. We know he's there. We know his presence is there.
Exactly.
Right. All you got to do is you allow the audience to understand that his presence is there. You don't need Freddy. I can't remember where this goes. I haven't seen this movie in probably a decade.
No, it's like we're watching it for the first time.
It is kind
10
of
years.
But right now, okay, you have a little girl. That's cool. That's great. You don't need Freddy. We know he's there. We know he's around. We just saw him for a brief second. It was a cool little shot with his hat and his face and the glove. That's fine. Okay, you got this. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, the Freddy melody.
But see how this is but see how this dream is a little more nuanced. It's giving there he is. Fuck. You don't need to see him. That should be one of her teachers. That should be one of her teachers standing there at the chalkboard talking to her. That's who it should have been. It should have been one of her teachers standing there at the chalkboard talking to her. We don't need to see him again. We just saw him. We know how many times are we going to see this guy? And then nothing ends up coming from it either, right? How many times is she going to wake up with Freddy right there and nothing happens?
Now, W.J. Corsi, I kind of agree with you on this. What if they had opened the film like this? What if this was the beginning of the movie? This is not a bad beginning. If these were like throwaway characters and they were introducing us to this new Elm Street, it might have been all right. Opening dream sequence that this is happening right now.
Yeah.
If this is how we were introduced in the film. Not a bad idea.
Not bad, but I still would have taken Freddy out of it. I would have taken Freddy because think about the dream that
because you only see Freddy for a split second.
A split second when he jumps up behind her.
Right.
But you don't see his face really. It's I mean. It's kind of
shadow.
Exactly. And I think maybe the dream could have ended like how the dream we just saw. Oh God, it's about to happen again. The dream we just saw. Yeah, and look at him. Look. It's so clear. Yeah. It's so clear. Here we go.
No, it's like, why are we doing this?
But
why are we doing this?
It's not that. I just wanted to talk about. Hang on, I got to get through this. I'll just get through this. Yeah, I don't really there's really no. But I don't feel anything.
So we're just gonna toss her like she's getting tossed around like a fucking pepperoni pizza. I had to finish my sentence.
Okay. Can I
so
talk
she
now?
gets tossed around like a fucking
yeah.
pizza, and I mean, you see the difference between Tina's kill and
100%.
Like, Tina's screaming for her fucking life.
Yes.
In that first, as she's getting dragged up the wall. This chick is getting tossed around like what the.
You don't. Again, it's not nuanced, right? They need to let it breathe. It's more horrific when you see her like. You slow it down, allow for the visuals. We're like, oh my God, help me, help me. You know, like, you don't have to be so quick. It's just, this movie is. Now, going back to what, what's his face was saying there, I forget his name now, my apologies. What you're talking about, how maybe that was the opening of the movie, okay? Do you know what you're talking about? How that dream would be the opening?
This whole dream sequence was the opening,
right,
minus
now,
what we just saw.
Right now, but where I would have ended it though is when she gets to the doorway and she looks in. Maybe have Freddy at the chalkboard and he kind of looks like this, and that's when she wakes up. Don't have the goddamn fucking cliche thing when at the fucking camera. How many times do we? How many times do we see this in a horror movie? It's like, fuck, what do you stop? Yeah. Don't do that. They did that in this movie. Instead, she gets to the door. She looks. Let it breathe. Build the suspense. Freddy's at the chalkboard. You're like, oh my God, there he is. That's the new Freddy. Holy shit. And he's gonna look. Maybe you think you're about to see something, and then it cuts and she wakes up and you don't. And she's like, oh, what the fuck was that? And she doesn't know who it is. Maybe that's the first time she's ever dreamt of him. Maybe that's the first time she ever had that dream. And she's confused, right? And now the characters are put in the same position as the audience. We're like, what the fuck's going on? And she's like, what the fuck's going on? And then you go on from there. That's what you do, right? And then there isn't another dream for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. You don't have to have a dream every 6 seconds. It's true. You don't have to have a dream for every 6 seconds, for Christ's sakes. There's not like, I just don't. And here's Nancy all like, she's all emo and shit. And it's just, that's part of the big problem here. Too much Freddy, too often, too many dream sequences in such a close proximity.
And trying to capitalize on kills that were iconic in the original film.
Dude, you could have
just a bad mistake.
You could have 3 or 4 dream sequences. Now, I don't know how many they had in the original, but you could have 3 or 4. I would rather have 3 or 4 dream sequences only, but they're really good. And they really, complement the rest of the narrative well. And then the rest of the story is about, them trying to figure what the fuck's going on and trying to stay awake, trying to get the cops to believe them, or, whatever the case is. You don't have to have a dream. I'm surprised this isn't a dream sequence. It's just, yeah. I think that's what they should have done. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea having that as... Because that opening's more nuanced, right? It's not as in your face. It's building the suspense. It's about telling stories. It's about how to tell a story effectively, to bring your audience on a journey rather than to disconnect your audience as if they're watching something, like I feel, I just don't feel anything. And it's unfortunate, but it is typical of these kinds of movies at this level. Is Nancy's mama drunk in this movie? I can't remember. Probably not.
I don't know. But he's already getting visitors in jail? What the fuck?
Already. He's getting visitors in jail already.
He just got hauled off!
Oh, no.
Oh, no. I was like, what the fuck? He's
going to his cell. He's going to die in his cell. Freddy's going to show up. Jesus Christ. Dude, we're just over 30 minutes into the movie. There's like so much Freddy. Maybe that's what they wanted to do. They're like, we're going to show him a lot and show him out. We're going to show a lot of him and show him often.
Yeah, I was going to say, did New Line do that? Yeah, they did.
New Line with Platinum Dunes, right?
Yeah. Bob, what were you thinking, buddy?
Kind of looks like the Stranger Things house.
It does, but it also
Mike
has
Wheeler's
a bit of it has a
Leave It to Beaver house
because of the placement of the door being to the far. Well, I guess it would be right for us as we're watching it.
Yeah.
It has a bit of Nancy's original house, but it's its own house. That's what I mean. Like there were cool creative choices they made in this film. It's
nobody goes out to, well, I can't say nobody, who knows, but I mean, nobody goes out to make a bad movie. You know what I mean? And I just think that
I disagree. Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, Halloween Resurrection, Halloween 5.
But nobody goes out with the intention to make a bad movie. Everybody is trying. They're trying to make the best movie they possibly can.
I know, and of course, this is at the time when all the remakes were happening too.
Right. And it's not a. I don't think this is a terrible movie. It's watchable.
No, it's terrible.
But
it's terrible.
Well, but it's a bad. But it depends on what your definition of terrible is, right? It's a terrible Elm Street film. Yeah, it's a terrible remake. Yeah, for sure. See this kind of stuff, all this kind of stuff, and how they're looking up stuff like this should be happening.
And now he's gonna fall asleep.
It just needs it.
Now he's gonna fall asleep. What the fuck?
Know. There we go. Here we go again.
He's looking up shit on the internet, and now he's gonna I'm gonna have a dream sequence.
Like we just did this. How many fucking dream sequences can we have? Like unless I'm.
Which is unfortunate because I actually like this kid. This kid's a really decent actor. Have you ever seen Haunting in Connecticut, which is based on a true story? Although they went a little bit extreme on that story.
I have, but not in a while.
He's a solid actor. He's a good actor. I liked him in Smallville, obviously. Unfortunately for him, again, you can't blame the actors in this movie. They were given a script, they were told what to do, and they did the best what they were given. But that makes no sense. This kid shows up to what appears to be a library. He's looking up dreams and shit. And then, I'm going to just nod off now and have a fucking dream. Like, you're forcing dream sequences in this film, like Dave's been saying, and they're not organically happening. You need this character to have a moment where he develops into a dream sequence or has a daydream. You don't necessarily need to go full-blown dream, but you can have like a daydream where he thinks he sees something and he snaps out of it. Really quick.
Like I
go into this full thing, it's like
I just don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about any of these characters. I just don't care. It's like one dream sequence after another. Freddy is always in
Freddy.
it. Yeah. Like, look, see that cheap trick. That's not scary.
It's not spin.
I didn't do anything for me. Like, what the hell is that supposed to do? Like, what is that supposed to do? It's not effective because we've already seen him. We've already seen what he looks like in every other fucking dream sequence. It's not effective. The fast spinner. What is that supposed to do? It doesn't do anything to me. It doesn't affect me emotionally at all. It's just, it doesn't do anything. I don't understand these incompetent decisions, in structuring. It just does. It's cheap tricks. It's just cheap tricks. It's cheap carnival. It's
and not
cheap
not the music group.
No, but it's.
We definitely don't want you to want me on this one.
Now, in terms of a creative decision, I like that. He's walking down the hall. All of a sudden, he looks behind him, and there's a brick wall there. It seems really small. Seems really inconsequential. Seems really, really, Dave, you like that? Yeah, because it's different. Number one, it's nuanced, right? It's eerie, and it's not. It's just he's walking down the hall. There's a guy with him. There's this long hallway behind him. All of a sudden, it gets quiet, and he looks, and all of a sudden, there's a brick wall there. It's like, what the fuck? I like things like that. That's cool. That's very much like how you would dream, right?
Like this dream sequence is cool in the boiler room. It's obviously it's a sound stage.
I don't know anything about it.
I like what Wes did in the original film where they went to a legit boiler room.
Mm-hmm.
This is cool. Like, this is what they should have done more of.
Can you imagine if this was only the second time we have seen Freddy in this movie? Can you imagine?
That would have been great.
Can you imagine this is only the second time we're seeing him in this movie? How fucking amazing that would be?
Yeah.
Because you'd be like, oh, shit. Yes. Yes. And you're like, oh, shit. That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. But it doesn't really, it's cool, yeah. But the only thing I think of when I see that, there's that silhouette again.
In the background there.
Yeah. Can you imagine? We're 40 minutes in. This is only the second time we're seeing him.
Damn, we're 40 minutes in already? Oh, fuck.
That'd be amazing.
This movie's hauling ass.
Why are you screaming? I haven't even cut you yet. That's what he says in a minute. I like that line. It's a good line.
He's short. Because this actor who played Jesse was short next to the girl. And Freddy dropping some F-bombs.
He's dropping some F-bombs. Yeah, I don't. This doesn't do anything.
I mean, I get like they're trying to toy with him and whatnot.
Toy with him a different way. Don't have him come up to him and touch him and walk away. Do something different. Have him change into something else. Have him, he's there and he's like, no. And he looks away and he looks back. And
his name is Jesse. Like, is that like, are they like
probably
part 2?
Yeah, probably.
You think?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's great.
He ain't gonna live through it.
That's fun. Can you imagine if that was the first kill in this movie or the second kill?
If it was the opening kill, that would have been cool. Or second kill, yeah, second kill.
That would have been cool.
I actually don't mind this part because that's kind of fucked up. I don't mind that. You know what I mean? As far as like where he's saying that, that's actually pretty cool. Did you know that the brain keeps functioning after the heart stops? We got 6 more minutes to play.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's a good line.
I would have used that. That actually works because he's dead, sort of. You know, he's not completely dead yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got no complaints on that. I will say, if I had to rank the kills in this movie, that might be my favorite one.
That's your
Jesse's
favorite one?
death might be my favorite one. Yeah. Well, fucking Chrissy, no, ripping off Tina's death and shitting on that. No way.
Yeah.
I think, and it's only because of his delivery of how Jackie I don't mind him as Freddy in that. That's what I'm saying. Like there, in that moment, you got this little light of what they could have possibly done with Jackie as Freddy.
Yeah.
Because I really liked that. That was really good. It was really fucking creepy. And he wasn't trying to be Robert, which is what I don't want. It's going to happen, folks, and we need to accept it.
Well, I think people have to understand for the if you want the Elm Street series to move on, you have to
got to do it without Robert. And whoever does it, they need to make it their own. Do not try to do what Robert did.
Well, you have to make sure that people see Freddy Krueger, not Robert Englund. You know, and there's ways to do that.
And like in that scene there, that's where I was like, okay, you know, I see the potential in Jackie to be Freddy. I'm liking it. Unfortunately, he just has been shown to us like for I don't know how many times.
Jesus, every 5 seconds he's there, and he's those cheap little parlor tricks, you know,
tricks,
little
like,
at the camera, and it's like fuck that shit. Was it supposed to scare me?
Ryan,
I mean, that would scare somebody.
What's our favorite
80s.
Nightmare on Elm Street scene in Dream Warriors? What's your favorite scene in Dream Warriors, Dave?
Scene? Probably the kid that's walking down the hall with his veins popping out, whatever. It's a great visual. It's a
very cool visual.
And Freddy isn't even in that until the very end when he's chopping off the, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's not like he's seeing Freddy every 6 doors on the hall. This woman doesn't even look like she's old enough to be her mother.
No, she doesn't.
Looks like she's like maybe an older sister.
Yeah.
Fuck, is she ever emo? Scene. I don't think I've seen her smile once. Yeah, this movie.
I mean, I gotta go. It's hard not to go with Welcome to Prime Time. You know what I mean? Like I was trying to think of something besides the obvious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, cause that's just such a like iconic moment. Welcome to Prime Time, bitch. Mm-hmm. It's like hard not to say that moment. I gotta go with that. It's cliche. I know. I was trying to think of something better than that, but
no, but it's a good one.
Although, what's her name too? I like her kill with the knives and the heroin or whatever.
Oh yeah, that. Yeah.
I forget her name in the movie.
Yeah.
starts with a T, I think.
I can't remember.
I'm so bad with characters' names. I really
Oh, here it comes. Here comes the bad.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Although I am going to recreate this in a photo one day.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
With the right person. There's a lot of trust that needs to go into creating this shot. You know what I mean? Because
Yes.
you're asking a girl to
fully
expose herself.
Well, she not necessarily. She could be in a.
Oh no, we're going full method.
But you don't see her boobs in the original anyway.
No.
But you could be like, she could have like a tanned bra on without the straps. You know what I mean?
A bandeau.
Yeah, and just have, the bubbles up here, and then it would look like she's nude.
Well, there's 3 ways that I'm shooting it. I'm going to shoot from the perspective of Freddie's glove looking up. I'm going to shoot it from the reverse side of from Nancy's, visual, what she's seeing. And then I want to get one overhead. And if I do the overhead, it's going to be very, very hard to, like, I want the bubbles to be faded so that I can get it on Instagram without Instagram.
Sorry,
really
but what was terrible about that?
I don't even care, dude. You can say whatever you want.
Well, I just want to say, but what's terrible about that is that in the original, again, it was more nuanced. The glove slowly came up out of the water, right? It's like, oh, it slowly came up out. This was just like, it was like really, it was, again, you're destroying, no, you're destroying it. The pacing in the original film, it comes up like a shark fin, or like a. It's just it's pacing. I know I'm saying this like I don't know how else to describe it. It's nuanced. You give it time to breathe. You allow suspense to be built. But when you just have her there and all of a sudden it just looks like, it literally looks like, well, we got to shoot this because it's in the script and the studio wants us to do it. All right, let's do this. There you go. Okay, let's move on. It looked like it looked like it wasn't approached with TLC. It just looks like it was half-assed done, like slow it down, have the knives come up, slow it down, have it come right out and then kind of start to go towards her face. I know it's what they did in the original, but if you're going to do it right.
What if she's drawing the bath, it's a super hot bath, so the room is steamy, right? Nancy's standing by or Heather, however we want to call this character's name. She's standing by the mirror and she wipes the mirror. She turns, she doesn't see it. And you see kind of like what I did in my photo. You see Freddie's reflection. She turns back, Freddie's gone.
Right.
She goes over, she sits
Is that Freddie again? Dude, sorry. Again. Holy fuck, he's there again.
Yeah, I know.
He just shows up like he came to pick her up on a date. The hell? Yeah, I know. We've never seen Freddy in the snow before. Let's shoot that. The hell? Oh my God. I didn't realize how many fucking times you saw him in this movie.
She said, no, what?
I didn't catch it.
Well, anyways, what I was saying is what I would have done is wipe the window. You see Freddie's face, kind of like the photo that I created with Freddie looking back at the girl and the girl not seeing.
Yeah.
Then the second sequence of what I would have done is had Nancy go by the tub, sit at the edge of the tub, put her hand in the water. The door knocks. It's her mom. And then you could have Freddie, like you said, start to rise out of the tub.
Right.
Behind her. And she doesn't see it.
Oh, dude, that's a really good idea. Oh, my God, Tony, that is really good.
Own, you know what I mean? Instead of doing and recreate. And you don't even have Nancy go in the tub. Nancy doesn't even go inside the tub.
Tony
Freddie comes out of the tub, and there you go.
Or I love it. I love it. Or you do that, or you do this. She's in the tub. You show the perspective that people expect, right? So you get the camera between her legs. What is the audience expecting? The glove to come out of the water. The glove never comes out of the water. You hold it there. You hold it there for maybe 10 seconds, maybe to build a little bit of suspense, a little bit of anticipation. The audience is waiting for it. It doesn't happen, right? And then she looks like she's falling asleep, right? Then there's a knock at the door. It's her mom. She wakes up, but she hasn't really woken up. She gets out of the tub. We see her get out of the tub, and the audience then is going, "Oh, I guess they're misleading us on purpose." Okay, cool, right? She gets out of the tub. She's putting on her robe. She's standing maybe 3 feet away from the tub. You smack a wide angle lens on that, on that camera so you can get the whole room with her and the tub, and all that. And then behind her, as she's talking to her mom on the other side of the door, "Are you okay in there? Listen, I just wanted to," and she's going, yeah, I know, Mom. And maybe she's doing up her robe, right? And then behind her, out of the tub, you see Freddy Krueger begin to rise with water and bubbles falling off of him, right? And he's just slowly rising out of the tub.
So she's actually still in the dream and she's not awake.
Exactly. And therefore, look, is it going to hit? Is it going to hit with audiences? Who knows? You never know.
But at least you're not trying to rip off the original.
100%. 100%.
You're taking a gamble and you're trying to make it your own. Actually,
I like that.
It's not even ripping off. You're making it your own.
You're making it your own. You're making your own. But in some ways, you are tipping your hat and paying homage to the original by still showing that framing and that shot, right? Between the legs, you're like, this is what you guys want, isn't it? This is what you're waiting for. No. And then you move away, and that's actually not a bad idea. Doesn't mean it would, it doesn't mean it would work. Doesn't mean it would work at all. But I think it's a cool idea because you're like, oh, fuck, he was in the tub with her the whole time? Oh, shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, I actually don't mind that. I actually think that's a good idea. Frank Riker says, "I'm getting the feeling Dave likes it wet." Frank.
Oh, this is the backstory now. That's right.
All right, the mom just comes out and tells the backstory. Yeah, let's just shoehorn this in. Look at Jackie Earle Haley. Hi, Uncle Jack. Kind of looks like Martin Short here.
A little bit.
Doesn't he kind of look like Martin Short a little bit? A little bit. Now, of course, in this movie, they really play up the angle that he's a...
they big time play up the angle.
That he's... and, people have tried to have debates with me about that. Freddy's not a child molester, he's a child murderer. And I'm like, okay. I know I've said this before on the channel, but we're watching this movie, so it's it bears repeating.
Careful the words you use. You don't want YouTube to come and get you.
Whatever. Yes, that is. Although you are correct. Yes, that is true. It is never explicitly stated in the original series, as far as I know. Certainly not in the original film, that Freddy Krueger was a child molester. However, if you do know your Elm Street history, that was on the table as an option in the script. I believe so anyway. It certainly was on the table as part of the story, but they changed it for obvious reasons.
Oh, it was very taboo back in the day for that.
Well, sure. And you, how can you market, how can
they wouldn't have been able to.
They wouldn't be able to market. I mean, no. My mom, okay, little Tony and Dave, do you want a Freddy Krueger costume? The child molester?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to do that, right? So they made him a child murderer. But guys and gals, it's really a matter of semantics. Now, I know that might pain you to think, oh, my Freddy Krueger's not a child molester. Oh, no, he's just a child murderer. That's better. Listen, anybody, if he's a child, why does he have an infatuation with children? If he's only murdering children or young girls and boys, teenagers, whatever, he clearly has some sort of infatuation, unhealthy infatuation with underaged people. So it's not a stretch to think that if he's murdering children, it's probably not the only thing he's doing. Okay? I mean, I doubt he's just like, I'm going to pick up that little girl because I just like murdering kids and I just like little kids. Obviously, he was probably, if this was real life, if this was a real situation, Fred Krueger, folks, is not just a child murderer.
Let's get real. Freddy was doing some touchy-feely.
Well, come on. I mean, that's the murder part is the end result of his interactions with these kids, okay? I'm sure he wasn't just picking them up and going, oh, you look like no, he was probably holding them for a bit and doing God knows what with them, and then he kills them. So I hate, now, obviously that's not how they market it, and that's fine, and we don't have to think of it like that. But it's, come on. I mean, he has some sort of strange, unhealthy infatuation with kids. Okay, I mean, let's. Hello, McFly. Think, McFly. Think. But they couldn't market it, which is why it's explicitly not said that way in the story.
I didn't realize he was a swimmer in this.
Oh, which means he's probably going to die in the pool or something. I mean, how can you not? How ironic. How ironic. Yeah. Corey Dean says if he kills kids, he goes there. Yeah. I mean, let's be serious, right? I mean, you know. No. I just like looking at kids and killing them. Do you do anything else? No. I just pick them up and go, hey, bitch. You know? Come on. No, he's that creepy guy.
Look at what's his name, John Wayne Gacy.
Well, that's it, right? You know, it's more than that. But you couldn't market that. You couldn't market that to kids. You couldn't market that. You couldn't market costumes like that. You couldn't, you know. I mean, it's like.
So what? Did he like fall asleep during mid-stroke? Like what the fuck?
Mid-stroke? Oh, you mean swimming? Yeah,
swimming.
Not that kind of stroke, folks. Get your mind out of the gutter. Yeah, he did, and he rises up here. That's kind of funky. That's kind of cool. Like, I like the transition of that. That's cool in terms of being in a pool and then he wakes up and he's here. Like, I like that contrast. That's cool. You know. Now, why is he watching the events unfold, though?
If I remember, I think his father was responsible. The bad guy, the douchebag from Pet Sematary 2, right. And but Shawshank, it's his dad, and I think his dad was one of the reasons why.
Okay, but does he know about the story then? Like, why would his subconscious?
He's seeing it. I think Freddy's showing him why.
Oh, Freddy is showing him why. Okay.
If I'm interpreting this correctly.
Okay, and you may be right.
Isn't this what the trailer was though?
That's right. That's right.
This was the trailer.
Yeah. The teaser or the very first one had this, and I thought it was kind of cool. Like, I was like, oh, this is cool. We're actually seeing this because we'd never seen it before. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, we're actually seeing it, which is cool, and I'm okay with that because again, his backstory is not like Michael Myers, where it's reliant on ambiguity. We know. Right. We're just finally seeing it. It doesn't take anything away from the Freddy character because we already know this. We know. We're just now actually seeing it for the first time. It'd be like starting Halloween in 1978 and just hearing that Michael was a 6-year-old child who killed his sister. And then they make a remake years later where you actually see him kill his sister when he's 6 years old. That doesn't ruin anything about Michael. It's just showing you what we already have known for decades. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Are you kidding me? I want the Loomis Chronicles. I want to see a whole 3-part movie on Loomis and Michael in the sanitarium. Just having no conversation.
Dude,
one-sided dialogue.
There are people in this world that if you made a Halloween
who would want
TV,
that?
Yes. There are. It's crazy to think that there are people in this world. And
they want a 2-hour movie of Loomis just sitting there, Michael.
I mean, no disrespect when I say this, just not me. But it's crazy to think that there are people in this world that would love to see Michael fight Chucky, fight Jason, and fight Pinhead all in the same film. Yeah, let's do it. I'm like, what the fuck? Why is this light go out again? Things not true.
I think those ideas are great to do for fan films. I think they're cool to do for photos and shit. Like I've done Ghostface versus Michael. That was fun to do. But as an actual movie, no.
I like how he's taken off his jacket and you see the iconic, sweater colors. It's cool. It was a cool thing. And there he goes. Krueger! Of course, you can't murder him. Yeah, I wouldn't have necessarily showed that. Interesting. Okay.
It's an interesting way to tell the backstory. You could have also taken that segment and just put it at the beginning of the film.
I was just gonna say that. You could,
and then go into that dream sequence. You
yes.
know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that what's his name suggested in the chat.
That's right. You could have done that.
That's it. I'm gonna give you guys the Tony cut.
Maybe, and it's all there. I mean, the material might be there. Tony.
Material's all there. I just gotta kind of fine tune.
That's it. You just gotta fine tune it, folks.
Oh, this kid is in Friday the 13th. He's in the Friday the 13th remake.
Oh, yeah, he's the pothead, isn't he?
He's the pothead. So he survives this and goes to Friday the 13th, get killed by Jason.
Unreal.
Is that what happens?
I got it all.
When did Friday the 13th come out?
The 09, just a year prior.
So a year later, he's in the Nightmare remake.
Yep.
Okay.
See, that's the thing I hate, too. Like, when I look at Rooney Mara, like, it's like, she's very pretty, she's cute. But her character, not her. I
have zero, like, no attach, like I do with Heather and Nancy in the original.
But I have no attachment to her.
Yeah.
I don't care whether she lives or dies. And it sucks. And that's just because we are introduced to her already like this.
Now let me ask you a question. We don't get to see
her actually, somewhat normal.
Because it's very possible, and I'm sure it's been discussed, and I'm sure it's on the table.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think if they were? Okay, I wasn't expecting Unfriended there.
Yeah.
Did Laura Burns like hop, skip, and jump and come over to here?
Remember when she was fucking with our stream that one time?
Exactly. Look at Laura Burns. If they were to approach Heather to come back to reprise the role as Nancy, how do you think people would feel if it was someone else playing Freddy? If it wasn't Robert?
I think people would be upset.
Yeah.
Because they see them as,
which is unfortunate for Heather, because Heather could play Nancy again. I mean, she in theory could.
Well, and Robert could play Freddy again, but no,
I don't want this version of
I agree. But I agree with you though, right? I'm talking about in terms of his capability. I mean, he
could do a Nick Castle thing.
He's with it.
One scene.
No. I agree. I don't mean do it well. I like the old times. I just mean that it's not like he's senile or anything. He's capable of doing it. The problem is that he's older. He's a little heavier. Look how he looks on the Goldbergs. I mean, it's like it's just not the same anymore.
No.
Right? And if they make another Elm Street, they're gonna want longevity. You can make 2 or 3 movies with Heather because it's not required. It's different. You know what I mean? Yeah. Heather is supposed to be, older now, close to 60, and she looks the way she does.
I would do.
But why does Freddy Krueger look like he's aged? And he's
do you know how you could get around that? If and they kind of did this with the 2018 Halloween, sort of, though. Usually when you become an adult, you don't grow 5 more inches like Nick Castle to James Jude Courtney, but that's besides the point. I won't get too picky on the height thing. But what you could do is
there's the body bag.
I'm so like, yeah.
But see, it's like
no. Like,
what does that even?
Nothing.
It right. There's nothing there. No. There's nothing there. This is just for.
This is 2010 cheap thrills.
And where is it connected to her? It's not. It's not immediately after her funeral. It's not. There's no. Yeah.
But my what I was going to say is what they could do to bring Heather back into the equation is if you bring back Freddy's original look from the original Elm Street. That look, the baggy, like the sweaters that I wear in my Elm Street photos, that type of Freddy look, and not what Robert ultimately became throughout the franchise.
Yeah.
That could be a bit forgiving with fans if you went with that look, because we've only seen that look in one film, which was the original Elm Street.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah.
After that, it became the look that we're seeing here, but in the remake.
I agree with you, but you still have the Robert.
Yeah, you're going to have the Robert fan base that's going to be like, yeah, Robert. Well,
but you can have a swan song, but then it's like, then what? Okay, so let's say you make a movie with Heather and Robert. Okay, great. But then what? Robert can't play him for another 4 films.
He could barely probably do it for 1.
Well, that's what I mean. So it's like, what are you going to do? Just have him for 1 and then you replace him? You're going to piss people off. No, just replace him. It's done. It's over. He's 75. You can't. It's a different kind of character. If Robert, and I mean no disrespect to Robert, okay when I say this, but he's not, you know, the 140-pound surfer he was 40 years ago. I mean, he's probably, you know,
he's a really thin guy back then.
Very thin. He's got a bit of a gut on him, and he's looks older.
Why shouldn't he? He's older now.
Well, yeah, I'm not making fun of him. We're just talking facts. We're talking facts. And when you look at him, it is what it is. And when you look at him,
because you want to know what? Let's be honest. As much as the Robert fan base would love it, there's also the other side of it that people would be criticizing because he's it's big.
The Robert fan base is because they're emotionally attached to Robert Englund playing Freddy Krueger. These are the same kinds of people that believe he is the only one that will ever be able to play him in the history of humankind. It's this syndrome where it's like, listen, will Harrison Ford always be my Indiana Jones? Yes, because I grew up with him. There's nostalgia. There's an emotional attachment. But to think that nobody else in the history of actors ever again in the history of humankind could ever play Freddy Krueger and do it justice, where you go, wow, you know, it was pretty good, is just... It's people's emotional nostalgia and attachment talking. They identify him as the guy. They cannot imagine anybody else playing him, so they just automatically, that equates to nobody else could ever play him. Well, maybe subjectively speaking to you, but you know, let's not forget, nobody else could ever be the Joker. Oh fuck, you got Heath Ledger gonna be, and all of a sudden now Heath Ledger's the greatest Joker of all time. Nobody could ever beat Heath Ledger. Oh my God, Joaquin Phoenix did a hell of a good job. Now, it was a different kind of Joker, but the principle's the same. Holy shit. I mean, guys, this has been happening for years. You know, it's yes, somebody else will be able to play him. Don't use Jackie Earle Haley as the benchmark. There's a lot of things that were wrong, although I thought he did a fine job. Imagine if this scene right here was only like the third, maybe fourth time in the movie we'd seen Freddy. Can you imagine how fucking awesome that would be? If this was like only the third, maybe fourth time? That's pretty fucking cool, man. I do like that.
I like the fact, you know what's funny? I didn't know,
I
didn't remember because I've only seen this movie once. I've always said that the song Dream, the song that was playing, I always said that would be a good song to use in an Elm Street movie. And they did. I didn't realize that they did that shit.
Yep.
And that if you kind of warped the sound of the song, that would be really creepy. And they...
That's right. But I mean, you know, and I get it. I want people to understand that I do understand. I'm not saying you're wrong.
The only way you're going to get Heather back, like in a Jamie Lee Curtis Halloween type thing, is if you have to recast Freddy, and it is what it is. If you want Heather Langenkamp to be in 3 Nightmare on Elm Streets, I'm using that. Halloween. If you wanted that, you're going to need a new Freddy.
Or you hire Robert to be Freddy and you use him sparingly. You use him in light and shadow. And dark. No, but he doesn't even need to do the voice. But you have him and you use him sparingly. It's just that whenever they make these kinds of movies, folks, they don't make them hoping it doesn't make any money. They hope it becomes a huge hit so they can make more. And then you're still left with the same problem. Freddy, you know, Robert there are other people out there that can play him.
Yeah,
you know,
and play him well.
And
it doesn't even have to be a name actor.
And it's and matter of fact,
it doesn't have to be Kevin Bacon.
Oh, fuck. These people that think, I think Kevin Bacon's over 60. What the hell? Why do people want Kevin Bacon? You have the same problem if you hire Kevin Bacon. You know, like, I mean.
Let Tom Cruise be Freddy.
Yeah. I think it should
He'll come in the scene. I feel the need to kill.
The need to kill. I think it should be an unknown actor. That can take on the role. It's not about doing, like I've always said, it's not about doing a Robert Englund impression. It's about understanding the mannerisms and characteristics that make not this version of Freddy, but the classic version of Freddy that we know, understanding those mannerisms and characteristics. Yep. That's right. And building upon that, making it your own, but building upon that. What James Jude Courtney did, it's not like you watch him and you go, oh my God, that's Nick Castle. No, nobody watches James Jude Courtney and goes, wow, it's exactly like Nick Castle. No, but what is it? It's the closest to Nick Castle we've gotten out of any other Michael Myers ever.
He makes me feel like I'm watching Michael Myers.
It's
not
continuity. Right. And that's what it's about.
As much as I hate the height difference thing, I will admit, Nick Castle, when I watch Nick Castle on screen, I feel like I'm watching Michael Myers. That's the difference.
Right. And, I know that Chris Nelson and James Jude Courtney said, and same with, David Gordon Green, everybody said that that was intentional. We watched the original movie. We looked at some of now Nick was just being Nick. He was just walking around doing his thing. Did he add a little bit of style to it? Sure. There's a couple of moments where you can tell he's adding a little bit of style. Like when he turns the corner into the bedroom, there's kind of this very smooth, almost, not robotic, but there's a little bit of style in some of the things he did, but overall he was just walking. But Courtney and company paid attention to some of those nuances, as you hear me say that all the time, and tried to implement those nuances into James's performance. And that's why. It's why when you watch James Jude Courtney, you go, it kind of feels a little OG-ish. I get it. And why when you watch Wilbur or Shanks or whoever, it doesn't, because they didn't bother doing that. They just did their own thing. There's a very specific reason why. It's not that they were looking at, Nick Castle going, okay, and then he puts his foot here and then there and then here. And no, they were just getting the essence of what Nick was doing. It's why sometimes I'm not trying to toot my own horn when I say this, but in a lot of my little Halloween shorts, in my little Halloween shorts that I've done over the years, going back, a decade, one of the compliments that I used to get on them was, you got Nick Castle down. And why? It's because I understood what he did, his little tiny mannerisms, the essence of what he did, just certain movements, certain little things, certain idiosyncrasies that he did that you could bring, and it makes a world of a difference. Like how I used to teach people how to do the sit-up. Too many people get that wrong. They sit up too fast. Their knees are bent. They don't understand. You know what I mean? There's just things like that if you understand how to do it. And James Jude Courtney, actually, it wasn't James that actually did the sit-up. It was his stunt double, I believe, that did the sit-up at the bottom of the stairs in H-18. I remember hearing something about that. But they understood that. You see his knees aren't bent. He shoots up really straight like this. He shoots up more quickly than what Nick Castle did in the original, but he's got it down, right? That's what he would do. He sits up like his legs are straight and he sits right up. Too many people either can't do that because they're like, and they're, heaving themselves up, or their knees are bent, or they sit up too fast, or, they sit up like how, what's-his-face did on the road in H2O. He sits up like he's kind of, Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, but yeah, yes, you absolutely, somebody else can play Freddy Krueger. It's understanding the little nuances, the idiosyncrasies that make Freddy Freddy. And if you can leave the theater or leave a Netflix movie, because at this rate, maybe it'll be a Netflix thing, who knows? But at the end of the movie, if you can go, you know what? I believe that was Freddy Krueger. Not Robert Englund, but I believe that was Freddy Krueger. Then he's won. Then that's it.
That's why I said, if you're going to do it, you got to go back maybe to the original, keep him in the shadows, give the new person a chance to grow with that character.
Yeah.
Go back to like the OG Freddy, keep him in the shadows.
Yeah.
Very little dialogue. Let him be fucking creepy and scary.
Right.
Let the audience feel like they are, like I just said, when I watch James, I feel like I'm looking at Michael Myers, not looking at I'm not talking about the actor. I'm talking about the character. And I think that might be an approach to go with it, because it's it's not Robert. It's not Robert.
Well, that's always going to be there. It's always going to be there. You're going to have fanboys boycotting.
If fans give it a chance, and you go back to what Wes did in the first film, and then allow the new actor a chance to grow into the character, might work.
And let's put it this way. Now, obviously there may be somebody, but out of all the criticisms that Tony, myself, or anybody has given Halloween 2018, are any of those criticisms related to James Jude Courtney as Michael Myers?
None of us has said anything bad about
him. Nobody says, one of my biggest fucking problems was James Jude Courtney. Nobody says it. And why? There's a specific reason why. And it's no different. You're playing a character, an established character, and you're also playing a character that is a direct sequel to the original movie. So it makes sense that your mannerisms and idiosyncrasies and the nuances of certain things look like the guy from that movie because you're playing him. You're not playing George P. Wilbur's version or Don Shanks or Tyler Mane or whatever. So it makes sense continuity wise. Well, the same with Freddy Krueger. If you're remaking him, you first have to understand, like if you're remaking Elm Street, the writers have to ask themselves, what Elm Street are we making? What Freddy are we doing? Are we doing OG? Are we doing Elm Street 3 where it's kind of like a hybrid? Or are we doing Elm Street 6 where it's full on Carnival Barker? Like what version of Freddy?
Carnival Barker.
It's true. What version of Freddy? Yeah, what version of Freddy are we doing? And then when you establish that, then you have your foundation. You have your base. Then you know who to look for as an actor. You know what things the actor should be looking for, what things the actor should be paying attention to, what things the actor should be studying. It's no different than playing Shakespeare in a play, or Shakespeare in a play, playing Hamlet or Caesar or whatever. There aren't, different versions of Caesar. Well, I'm going to play him like this and I'm going to play him like, I mean, you can. I know there's the 96 Romeo and Juliet movie where it was a really kind of fun, funky kind of thing with guns and shit like that with Leonardo DiCaprio. And I get that. But traditionally, these are well-established characters. And when they're well-established characters, although with something like Freddy or Michael or Jason, because they sort of evolve over time, and if you want to remake it, you have, what is our version of Freddy or Jason or Michael? Yeah. And clearly David Gordon Green said this is a direct sequel to the original, so that's our version. And that's what they did. And yeah, maybe he's 5 inches taller, but his manner, but I believe it was the same guy. I believed it was the same guy. And that's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. That's it. That's it. Yeah. That's it.
Well, I think it would not. I think if they were to do like Elm Street Freddy 3 or Dream Warriors Freddy or Freddy's Dead Freddy, I don't think it would be fair to that actor to put him in those types of shoes, because if you're going to go with that version of Krueger, you're going to see more of him. You're going to get more dialogues. You're going to get a lot of those one-liners. Whereas like in the original, I don't even think he has 10 minutes total of screen time in the original film. Mm-hmm. I mean, Robert Englund has very, very little screen time. I would love to know the total minutes. I would be shocked if it hits even 10 minutes. And I think that would be the way you bring him in, the new guy, and give the audience a chance to warm up to him. You know what I mean? I don't even think Nick Castle had not Nick Castle.
No, Lee Bowers has it wrong. Nobody's saying he copied Nick Castle, but James Jude Courtney's on record. They are. I mean, trust me, I know people who know him have said that one of the things that they wanted to do was look and pay attention to that. Christopher Nelson was beside James Jude Courtney all the time on set of that first movie. He's said this. Yeah. This is on.
And there wasn't. You didn't see James Jude a lot. You didn't see Michael a lot.
No, you didn't. But during shots, Nelson, before they would say action, would say, "Chin down, James." If his chin was too high, or turn your head more like this, and he's thinking of the OG. He's thinking of that environment, that character, right? Again, it's not a Nick Castle impression. It's about the essence of the character, right? Yeah. The certain little nuances to the character that may seem inconsequential, that may seem not a big deal because we're so used to it, but make all the world of difference, right? And you do get that. Movie Chat and More says, Dave, I know you'll never admit it, but JJC was more like Warlock than Castle. Well, for me to want to admit that would mean I would have to agree with you, and I don't agree with you, actually. I don't think his mannerisms or his walk were anything like Dick Warlock at all. But I will say this, I do think that the mask on James Jude Courtney's face, which maybe this is what you're having, trouble with when you see James Jude Courtney, the mask on James's face looks more like H2 than it does the OG mask from H1. And that could be because maybe Dick Warlock and James Jude Courtney have more rounder faces. Definitely the way that mask sits on Courtney's face, definitely I see a lot of H2 in that for sure. But in terms
Nick Castle's got a very narrow,
longer
face. Especially
face.
At the time in 78.
That's right. But in terms of James Jude Courtney's performance, I don't see Dick Warlock there at all. I see more. And again, I'm not saying exactly like Nick Castle. I need my audience to instill their own nuance. I'm saying out of all the Michael Myers we've ever had in any Halloween movie, his performance was more like Nick Castle's performance, more like it than any other Michael Myers in any other Halloween movie ever. And that's primarily because there was a focus to pay attention to those nuances. That's all I'm saying, right? I'm not saying he's identical and that he certainly didn't bring his own to it. He did. But he understood going into it, I'm playing this version of Michael. So I can't start walking around like a fucking robot like Dick Warlock. Or I can't start, holding my hand like this with the knife like Don Shanks. Or I can't, there's certain things that he had to pay attention to. That's all I'm saying. That's
what, you mean unlike the greatest Michael of them all, Tony Moran?
Yeah, I disagree with you. Movie chat and more. JJC
great Tony
robotic.
Moran,
I don't think he moves that
Michael
way at all.
Myers of them all.
Yes, I know. Tony Moran is the greatest Michael Myers of all time.
Greatest.
He is the greatest. He's
Tony
the greatest.
Moran.
He's the
Tony
greatest Michael
Moran.
Myers of all time. He's the greatest.
Yes, I am intentionally saying it the way I'm saying it.
I'm telling you right now,
Moran.
Tony Moran and I, we had a great conversation. He thinks all you little Halloween fans. He's great. Tony Moran is the best,
He's
the
above
biggest.
us all.
He's the brightest. He's amazing. I love that, Tony. Tony, I love you. I watched
You're
it.
the best.
He's unmasked Michael. That's who he is.
Yep.
That's who he is. But anyway, back to Elm Street here. We are Freddy's fucking going crazy on this
I
guy.
totally not even paying attention to what's going on here.
I was paying attention. I just was talking. So again, we see him too clear. It's just seeing him too clearly. Oh, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of things. But this movie is not, it's just not scary. Can I just say it like that? It's not a scary movie. It's got a lot of surrealism to it, but that's expected when you're making a movie about dreams and the subconscious, that you would have an essence of surrealism to it. So the effects are great, the effects are great. The effects are great. But what would I hate when people use that as an excuse. Well, the effects are good. Well, of course they're good. The effects were amazing in The Last Jedi. I mean, that's like the standard. You would expect them to be good, right? Anyway, the effects are good. They're great. I think Jackie Earle Haley, I don't think he does a bad job. It's a different type of Freddy Krueger, and that's deliberate. That's on purpose. If you've read up on this movie, you knew that they actually tried to go the other way and distance themselves from Robert Englund's Freddy and make a more grounded sort of, more realistic per se because of the burns and all that kind of stuff. But as Tony and I have been saying, there's just no really likable characters in the movie. And Rooney Mara, like I said, I mean, she's easy on the eyes. I can watch her for 90 minutes, sure. But now that's a cool shot though, through the cracks and the light that's on. See how the light's on his face there? That's like, I said,
there's moments in here that it's just really good.
That's as clear as we should ever see him in this movie. Can you imagine if that's,
or in a remake? If you remake it, that's how
yes.
much I would show of him.
Yeah, it's great with the light coming through the window. Yep. You just see his face just ever so slightly. That's great. I got to give credit where credit is due. That's great. Now that's cool. I will say, that's probably cool where he shows up in the closet and then he bursts through the closet door with his hand. I have to admit, I thought that looked cool. I think this looks pretty cool. Running down the hallway, she starts to slip into the water, and now there's this hallway with a bunch of ooze and goo. As an effect, I like this. Seeing him in the background there with a nice light coming. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. This is creepy. We just see his shadow there, and she's trying to get out, and it's a hallway of blood. I admit, I like the way it's lit. I like the way she's like full of blood, and she's drowning in this hallway. It's cool. She falls into her bedroom, I guess, here. That's kind of cool. Like the idea, I mean.
It's a callback to Johnny Depp's thing without it being Johnny Depp's character.
Right. I thought, and
it's like the reverse of
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I thought it looked, but it's the idea, right? The concept that surrounds it.
And by the way, to defend your argument of Freddy being what he was, okay, Nancy.
Why all of a sudden are they showing him in all this? Sorry, dude, in all this shadow. This is great. Why wasn't he like this the whole fucking movie? Why show him in shadow now anyway? We know what he looks like. He should have always been.
Why
like
are you going to have Nancy wearing a white childlike dress?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the subtle innuendos are not so subtle if you are reading between the lines, especially with a character who's a fucking emo girl.
Yes.
And now look at how she dressed. She dressed like she should be in a fucking porno.
Yeah. Well, and in a child's dress.
You know what I mean?
Even the way he's lit here. I mean, he looks good here. He looks good here. I mean, I give credit where credit is due. It's the lighting and how they're utilizing light and shadow. And that's what you need to do with Freddy. I wouldn't even be showing him right now. Like his face right there, I wouldn't show that. I just show little bits. Of course, I understand you want. I get it. It's 2021 or 10 here. Dave, you're just old. They don't do movies like that anymore. I understand. I'm an old fart when it comes to this kind of shit, but there's reasons why you love those old movies and you don't like these movies, so. Like even that shot there, behind him over the shoulder, seeing the back of him. That's great. Scissors to the eye. Well, that shouldn't do anything. I was going to say, that shouldn't do anything to him. Yeah, she clearly looks like a little girl here.
Yeah, and that's totally intentional. And that 100%. Goes back to what you said about the character of Freddy, because Freddy controls the dreams, obviously.
Yep, that's right. But see, we've already seen him spinning people around and yeah. You just see too much of him. You just see him, you see too much of him and too often. That's what I'm going to say. Too much of him and too often. Oh, my texts are working again. My whole fucking network was down all day in terms of text and shit. I don't know what happened. And now I just received a text, so it must be back. Yeah.
I'd be smacking the shit out of her to wake her up.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, wake up, you dumb bitch.
I know. I'd be picking her up and like.
I know, right?
Something. What's he doing here? He's getting out the drugs.
The adrenaline.
Look at this. Where are you? Here it comes. Oh! Oh, she was able to take him out of the dream. What did he inject her with? Like I wonder what that was. I wonder what that was. Boom, boom. Yeah, take that, you son of a bitch. Yeah.
He's strong for a skinny guy.
Strong.
Who's brought back into the real world.
Yeah, he's strong. I forgot how this movie ends. I have no idea. Oh, what happened? Did she cut off his hand? She
cut off his hand.
Oh, the old
is this how it ends?
Pamela Voorhees thing?
I guess it's decapitation.
What?
Or not decapitated.
No, I guess just
split the neck open.
A slice to the jugular.
That's it. Homie lives? All right, good for you.
I thought he drowned. Or I thought he died.
Buddy.
I mean, I guess he does. I guess he lives.
Maybe they were thinking a sequel. Maybe they were thinking
of course.
sequel.
Yeah, well, of course they were thinking. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Never happened, of course, because, you know.
So you're going to burn him again?
The very next year after this, Rooney Mara did the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I like that movie, too. It's too bad they never made another one. Let's burn him again.
I know, right?
Were they? Where were they again? At the school, or the fuck were they?
Freddy versus Jason. We haven't even done that yet.
No, we haven't.
That'll be a fun show.
Woo! Boop, boop, boop. whoop, 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 whoop.
I actually probably would have more. I probably would have more fun watching that than this, just because of the sheer stupidity of that movie.
Yeah, I know. What you
but
mean.
at least it's Robert, playing Freddy, and
Yep.
I don't take that movie serious. That's a popcorn movie, and it's just like.
Movie.
What sucks is that it could have been better, even though you knew it wasn't going to be great. It could have been at least better to be more enjoyable.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I don't like it. I mean, like you, I'll watch it. I don't like this movie either. So.
No, this is fucking.
Oh yeah, something happens here. Doesn't he like his hand come out of his chest or something? I think it.
I don't remember, dude. It's been a decade since I've seen this movie.
False sense of security right here. Here it comes. Oh. Gee, I would have had okay. Well, now it's ominous and you're making it seem like now we know something's going to happen.
Well, there's 5 minutes left in the film.
Yeah.
With probably 2 minutes worth of credits. So there's about 2 minutes left in this movie, or 3.
You know what would be cool? Is if when her mother walked away, she walked by a mirror. Yeah. Oh, I was just thinking that.
Hey.
That's weird. I swear to God, I don't remember this at all. It's just the mirror gave me an idea. You know what I mean?
This song is a good song that they put. I'm glad that I will say if there's one thing I like is they put this song in the movie.
Yeah, it's a good song. It's a good song.
It fits Nightmare on Elm Street.
And I don't mind that ending. I don't
the
mind
ending's
it.
Actually pretty good.
I don't mind that ending.
It's not pulling the mom through the door like they did in the original.
No, it's pulling her through the mirror. So I don't mind that. I mean, it's not bad. I don't mind it. Folks, there it is. That was the remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Jackie Earle Haley, Rooney Mara. And let's see what...
Thank you, HBO Max. I didn't have to buy the movie.
There you go. Let's see what's going on in the chat room and what you guys are saying. I know some super chats came in. Oh, God, I don't know what's going on. Hang on a sec. Got to go over to YouTube Studio. And because they disappeared on me again.
Why is everybody giving angry faces?
Somebody's giving me
angry faces.
At me?
Angry face.
Why are people giving me angry faces? What's going on?
They hate you.
Yeah, they do. They hate me. They hate me. Super chat comes in from Southpaw82, says, for the Kong fans crying bloody murder and trying to boycott and cancel Adam Wingard over Kong getting his butt kicked by Godzilla, laugh out loud. I haven't heard this. Who the hell is doing that?
That's new.
Fuck, that's lame. Thank you very much, Southpaw82, for the super chat. Appreciate it. Mud Nelson sends in $4.99, just a super chat. Thanks, buddy. Harry Hagen sends in $2. Thank you, Harry. Says this movie is overproduced, too well lit, etc. I can agree with that. Intel Wild sends in $5. Says this baby was pure dog feces. Thank you, Intel. And
Agreed.
Movie Chat and More sends in £2 and says at Tony, Randy Savage or Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, Randy Savage. He's number 2 on my list of favorite wrestlers. Yeah. He was my favorite wrestler until Austin came in. And then Austin, it goes Austin, Macho Man, and then Taker.
The cream rises to the top. Have you seen that clip with him and Mean Gene Okerlund? Where he's got all these creamers?
And the cream of the crop.
Yeah. The cream of the crop. The cream.
Getting your hot dogging and showboating.
Oh my God. He's so he's going to have an but it's funny. It's like the cream rises to the top. Oh, yeah.
You know what made Macho Man a great promo? Cocaine.
Oh fuck, Macho Man.
He was doing an 8-ball before he did his promos.
Macho Man was crazy. Macho Man was crazy, man.
Veins absolutely coming out the neck and the freaking head.
Oh, I love it. There's an interview with him about 15 years or so ago, whatever it was, and he's got this black beard and he's being interviewed and he's like, "So we want to talk to you about Hogan." He's like, "Right." Sounds like it's the way he says right, like he says it so he's like right, but it's so casual. He's the way he's trying to he
had no love lost with Hogan. That's for sure.
No love lost with Hogan. I'm gonna tell you right now, that guy was a piece of shit. Fucking Hogan, a piece of shit. Isn't that right, Gorgeous George?
Oh, I mean, right? Hogan. The thing, what I don't like about Hogan and never liked about Hogan is like he never gave Savage his due. Like when Savage won the title, who was in the ring at the time? Hogan. Okay, WrestleMania 4.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
true.
And then who obviously was gonna, I know Hogan put Warrior. He put Warrior over. Yeah, I don't think that's really putting over. Like when you want to put someone over or give something back, you look at what Austin did in his very last match at WrestleMania against The Rock.
Yeah,
he put The Rock over and he gave The Rock the W. He didn't have to. He could have taken the W himself, walked off into the sunset and said, "I'm done. That's it." No, he gave back to the business. He gave The Rock that moment, and that's why there's actually a moment in that match where The Rock leans into Austin at the end and they break for a split second, and he says something to him. I think he thanks him or something like that, and then he taps him on his chest, and then that's it. Hogan never would have done that shit back in his heyday. He didn't do it at WrestleMania 5 because I thought that would have been the moment for Hogan to put Savage over and let when the Mega Powers exploded. That would have been a cool moment for Hogan to give to Savage. But like when Savage, dude, you don't understand. I was such a big Savage fan as a kid, and when he won that fucking title at 4, I was so excited, but at the same time, I was fucking yelling at the TV because Hogan's in the fucking ring with him. I'm like, you fucking motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something about Hogan.
Not only that, Savage fucking in WrestleMania 3, the biggest WrestleMania of them all that people argue and say that's the best. Savage gave back to Steamboat and he put Steamboat over and dropped the title to Steamboat at WrestleMania 3. He did more for that fucking business, and Hogan just fucking was a prima donna. Give me the fucking title and that's it.
You're damn fucking right. Yeah. Let me tell you something about Hogan.
He's a douchebag.
Guy's a fucking douchebag. Ain't that right, Gorgeous George? You remember that?
Yeah. That's why I say loosely he didn't put the Warrior over. He had no fucking choice at WrestleMania 6 because of how popular the Warrior had become at that point. There was like no choice in the matter.
I don't remember any of that, but
I'm glad Vince at least pulled the trigger on that.
I've never been in Spider-Man. Bonesaw.
Bonesaw. Yeah. Slim Jim. Don't forget his Slim Jim commercial. Snap into it.
I actually, I'm not doing it now, but I don't know if it was Macho Man then me. I don't know. But I became the voice of Slim Jim actually for about a year, 2 years.
Really?
Campaign. Yeah.
Were you telling people to snap into it?
No, I was saying, yes, I was. I was snap into bold flavor protein, snap into a Slim Jim.
Bold flavor proteins? What the fuck?
That's what it was. That's what it was. It was snap into bold flavor protein, snap into a Slim Jim. Yeah, I can.
Slim Jims are filled with nothing but garbage.
Let me see if I can play. I don't know if I can bring this up, but
you shouldn't get copyright. It's your voice.
Well, no, but it's not my ad though.
That's true.
But it doesn't matter. Let me see. Slim Jim Dave McRae. This was about 4 or 5 years ago. What is this? 2000. A year ago. No, maybe I upload. No, 3 years ago. Okay, it was about 3 years or so ago. Here, I'm going to play this. I don't know if I can show. Can I show this? No, I can't. I'll just play this. But this is I do the tags at the end, obviously the bumpers. But here you go.
Oh, this is taking forever. I'm so hungry I could die.
Whoa, Pete. Maybe we choose better words.
At least he had time to eat.
Unbelievable. No excuses.
Not cool, Pete.
Snap into bold flavored protein. Snap into a Slim Jim.
There you go. And I did a bunch of campaigns on that ran here and in the States as well. I think there were about 6 or 7 spots I did with that same. They were fucking hilarious too. The studio was in Chicago. I recorded them here
Slim
in
Jims
Toronto.
they were nuts.
They were funny as fuck. But I was laughing. Like I was in a studio downtown Toronto. We connected with a studio via ISDN in Chicago, which is where they were recording. And the scripts I got were just fucking hilarious. Like just funny. But that's what they wanted me to say. And that was, I'm pretty sure there were others Slim Jim ads between Randy Savage and me, but it's kind of cool to have a small part in their campaigns. So, but
cool
Let me see here. Blood Red Skies sends in a $5 super chat and says, IMDb put up a horror movie poll and everyone picked A Quiet Place Part 2. Then it shows H Kills and Candyman have least amount of votes. Hype died down? No, I think
I didn't even know that there was a poll.
I think, to be honest with you, my first instinct, Blood Red Skies, is that we sometimes forget that when you live in a horror Halloween bubble, that the vast majority of moviegoers don't give a fuck about Halloween. and I only mean that in the sense of A Quiet Place 2 had that more of that. Now, it's not that I know Halloween 18 became the highest grossing slasher in motion pictures. 250. I'm not saying it wasn't a box office smash. I'm not saying that. But I think when we talk about sort of what resonates with movie-going audiences today, general movie-going audiences, I think, will be more interested in seeing A Quiet Place 2. I think it had more appeal to the average moviegoer than something like Halloween Kills does. Halloween Kills is, it's the sequel to H-18. It's part of a long-running franchise. There's a lot of mental notes that you have to have going into it in terms of that first movie, the second. It's just not, it has its established fan base. It did very well in October of 18 because it was a Halloween movie released in October. That absolutely helps. It was the first Halloween movie in a decade, roughly. That absolutely helps. Nick Castle's back. James Jude Courtney's back. John Carpenter's back. That absolutely helps in the hype train. But it's a Halloween movie of a proven, the most iconic Halloween horror franchise of all time, released in the month of October. So you're naturally going to get, the average moviegoer coming in. There's a lot of rewatch there. It's Halloween time, but I think when you look at, in a general sense, what are most people, which includes us Halloween fans too, but everybody, you know what I mean? I think that doesn't surprise me in the slightest. That doesn't surprise me in the slightest. If somebody had asked me between those three films, who do I think would win in a poll? I would be like, well, what's the poll, right? Who are you asking? Are you asking Killer Flicks on Facebook? Well, let's say Halloween Kills. Are you asking, a Halloween group? Are you asking a convention, a horror convention? But if
I put that poll up on my Instagram, I guarantee you Halloween's going to win, hands down.
100%, right? What's the measuring stick, right? If it's just a general sense, which is IMDb, right? Put up a horror movie poll, right? So now you're tapping into everybody, so you got moms and dads and, you got people down who don't even know. It's like, but it's A Quiet Place, because that had more of that general appeal. I mean, even though I didn't feel this way, it was considered the best horror movie of 2018. And it was? Yeah. And I believe it was rated like, what is it on Rotten Tomatoes? It fucking smashed with the critics. A Quiet Place.
Actually, my most anticipated horror film this year is actually The Conjuring.
Right.
Even though I haven't seen a fucking trailer for it yet.
When I refer to what Rotten Tomatoes has, I'm not saying that the critics are correct. What I'm saying is that Rotten Tomatoes has a footprint in terms of pop culture relevance. So it can impact the general moviegoer. A Quiet Place right now sits at 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. So it was hugely successful with the critics. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, maybe I'm wrong. Let me just double check here. Yes, it was, it was nominated for Best Sound Editing at the Academy Awards. It was nominated for all sorts of awards, not at the Academy, but in terms of like Critics' Choice, Hollywood Film Awards, MTV Movie Awards, People's Choice Awards, which doesn't mean fuck, Saturn Awards, Screen Actors Guild Awards. It had more of a people really loved that movie, and it was original, so it had that going for it. It was an interesting theater experience for people. So no, that doesn't surprise me at all. That doesn't surprise me in the slightest. I would expect something like that.
I mean, it's cool. I just wasn't expecting it to be the film of the year for horror. The general consent. Well, again, it can be subjective at the end of the day, but the general consensus among a lot of film pundits and cinephiles and critics was it was the best horror movie of the year in 2018.
So that doesn't surprise me at all. I think we always have to remember that, and there's nothing wrong with this, but people can get caught up in their bubbles, and not everybody shares the same, not everybody's thinking about this 24/7 or cares about it. If I was to ask, my buddy John loves movies, when's Halloween Kills coming out? He'd say, I don't know. He says, I have no fucking idea. When is it coming out? Is what he would say to me. And John loves movies. He likes horror movies, but we just have to understand that sometimes we can get caught up in our own bubble, and not everybody, it's not as hyped broad as it might seem, in the bubble. It seems like it's, wow, like everybody's talking about this. Well, no, everybody in this community is talking about it, but not everybody's talking about it. You know what I mean? When you watch the movie pundits, right? Like if you watch somebody like, I don't know, what are the movie pundits? What are like Chris Stuckman or like John Campea? Are they talking about it? No, because they don't live in, they're more of that broader, bigger movie sphere. They will talk about it and they will review it when it comes out, but is John Campea doing anything on Halloween? No, he hasn't talked about Halloween Kills. I don't know when he talks about Halloween. He doesn't, right? So we have to remember that it's very niche-y, and horror's always been that way, by the way. Horror has always been niche-y. Always been. There's nothing wrong with that. It's always in the underground kind of thing. And Halloween will do well. Halloween will do fine. But that doesn't surprise me at all. On IMDb, no. IMDb poll, what horror movie you most anticipated with? A Quiet Place 2? That sounds about right. It's IMDb.
Polls are bullshit anyways.
Why?
They are. Polls are bullshit.
But no, I disagree.
Really? You should have been here in the States during the election because they were fucking way off.
I'm not talking about those polls. I'm talking about this poll. We're talking about this poll. We can't just say polls are bullshit. Some polls maybe. Okay, well, I disagree with you, because if you put a poll up on IMDb, if I put a poll up on my channel, okay, and I say, what movie are you most looking forward to? Halloween Kills, Candyman, or A Quiet Place? 500 people vote, and Halloween Kills wins.
That's why polls are bullshit. They're not accurate. Depends on who's asking the poll.
But it is accurate to the audience that it's being asked to. That's my point, right? Is that IMDb is the Internet Movie Database. So when you say which, it's up on IMDb. It's not up on a specific horror website that's attracting nothing but horror fans. It's on IMDb. So the average moviegoer is also going to the website, like my buddy John, and my buddy John would probably pick A Quiet Place too. That's the point I'm making, is right. So it's very specific to who you're asking, right? If you think a poll in general,
who went to the website and answered the poll question?
Well, that's,
you know what I mean? Did Halloween fans? No, of course not. Because I didn't even know it existed. That's why I say polls are bullshit.
But I disagree.
Until the question just came up, I had no clue that this thing even existed. That goes to show you the importance of the poll.
But it depends on what value you're placing on the result, right? Too many people place it as gospel. It's a poll that's on IMDb. So anybody who goes to IMDb, right, will say, hey, here's the result, of the people that we've polled. But they're not saying that, it is unequivocally the most anticipated horror movie of the year. It is saying, based on our viewers who've come, this is what our viewers are saying is their most anticipated horror movie of the year, which is A Quiet Place 2. But that's subjective based on who you're asking. You are right about that, right? In order for that to be like, it's like saying something like...
who cares, though? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just don't think there's any value in polls. They don't mean anything.
Well, the individual asked the question, they paid for it, so I answered.
I get that. I'm just saying in general, like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like,
I think people, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you, but I think it's because people put too much stock into polls as being, they have to understand it's because very few people put nuance And again, I know that's not, oh, here goes Dave talking about nuance, but it's true. It's because people don't fucking think. And the problem is that they see a poll like that and they think, well, this means, well, it's IMDb, so they're the Internet Movie, database, so it must mean the gospel. It's like saying something like, this is the official something. Well, who's saying it's official? How is it? There's so much there. It's like when people ask, what's the most iconic of this? Well, what's your benchmark? What are you measuring it against? How are you measuring it? How are you determining what's iconic and what isn't? There's a lot of variables that come into play. And I just want people to understand that I disagree with Tony. I just
think we take this shit way too seriously.
People do. Fans do.
It's entertainment.
Fans
it's supposed to be fun.
100%. But unfortunately,
whatever people are into seeing this year, fucking the movie I'm most anticipated for isn't even on the list. Do I give a fuck? No. Because it's not going to change what movies I'm going to see. It's not going to change my excitement. It's just I'm very much looking forward to seeing this new Conjuring movie because they're doing something different. They're not doing the haunted house thing. I'm excited to see it. I'm a little concerned that there's no trailer, but that doesn't mean it lessens my interest to wanting to see Quiet Place 2 or Halloween Kills.
Well, if I could say this, and I say this like with all due respect, Tony, I think maybe you're putting too much stock into.
I put zero stock in this shit.
No. But that's my point. Then who cares, right? Like we're just talking about this poll. And I don't think, maybe it's the way I'm talking about it and the way I'm taking a long time to answer it, maybe perhaps. And you're just kind of like, can we move on from this, please? I don't give a fuck about it. But I'm answering it in a way it's a random poll on IMDb and he asked a question. So I was just, but I agree with you. I agree with you in principle. Polls are polls and polls don't mean much because they're very subjective depending on whose audience you're asking. I do agree with you there. But I don't think the IMDb poll is saying, I don't think this IMDb poll is saying this is the most anticipated movie of the year. And if you think The Conjuring is the most anticipated movie of the year, well, you're just fucking wrong because IMDb says this. I don't think that's what they're saying at all. I don't think that's the leap to sort of make. And I think if that's what they were saying, then I think you would have every right to be like, what the fuck? Fuck you, man. The Conjuring's my most anticipated movie of the year. Fuck that shit. You know what I mean? But I think it's just in a general sense to its audience. That's all I'm saying. But I do agree with you, though. I do agree in that sense. I do agree with you. Sean Sheridan sends in €2. Thanks, buddy. Ideal actor to play Freddy in Nightmare reboot. Ideal actor to play Freddy in Nightmare reboot. Yeah, you could be anybody.
You go with I think you just go with a no name. I don't think you need a name.
But
we spend too much time overthinking, the perfect character.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the unsung hero, the no name, the guy that comes out of nowhere. That's when you usually find your best one.
Yeah. And you know what? Tony's bang on. And it's like what we said earlier, too, when we were watching the movie. I think we both said that I think it should be a no name, an unnamed no name actor.
Even if Kevin Bacon was in his 40s, I think Kevin Bacon, I think there'd be a lot of pressure there for him to deliver. And if he doesn't deliver and hit the mark with the fan base.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because it's Kevin Bacon.
Right.
Kevin Bacon has to.
You're right.
He has to be because fans have built him up in their mind to be this perfect passing of the torch from Robert to Kevin.
Yeah.
And whereas if you go with a no name, he's got nothing to fucking lose.
Yeah.
I'm nobody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go in there and do my shit.
No. And you're right. And I think I understand, again, I can intellectualize why people would want Kevin Bacon.
He's got the same body structure.
Exactly. You can picture the makeup on his face, and he can be creepy in some movies. But Kevin Bacon is, what is he, 62? Hey, Google, how old is Kevin Bacon?
I wouldn't be surprised if he was older.
62. He's 62.
Oh, there you go.
So, let's say, okay, the movie's not coming out this year. It's not coming out next year. So what is he going to be, 64, 65? I mean, I think they should go younger. Like Tony said, unknown. It's who plays him is not nearly as important as whoever does play him understands the character.
Yep.
That's what you have to remember. Who plays Freddy is not nearly as important as whoever does play him understands what makes Freddy Freddy.
Yeah, I just think at times we put too much steal your line, we put too much stock in trying to find the perfect person.
It's true.
There's not going to be a perfect person.
No, I totally agree. 100%.
So everyone starts listing off like this name, and it's just like they just because Kevin Bacon is a great actor. I always enjoy his movies.
Yeah, me
but
too.
It's not a guarantee that just because he physically could look like it, that we would enjoy him as Freddy Krueger. We don't know that.
No, we don't. We don't. No, and you're right. You are right. Blood Red Sky sends in another $5 super chat, says, yeah, it was a random poll. H Kills is supposed to be epic. But in my opinion, it's probably going to be overrated since so many channels make crazy predictions daily.
Excited for H Kills, man. I am
too. I think you just gotta,
keep that expectation.
Yeah,
Keep
exactly.
it right here.
Exactly.
Don't go there. Just keep it here. I think because other than, I did enjoy Rob Zombie's first Halloween. And I had fun with H2O because I went with my friends to see that.
Yeah, I remember saying that.
But it was the experience. It wasn't H2O the movie. It was just a good night out with my friends. You know what I mean? We had a blast seeing it. I want to walk out of Halloween Kills going, damn, that was good. It doesn't have to be the best. It doesn't have to be 4. It doesn't have to be the original. I just want to walk out, or I don't know if I can walk out. Depends if fucking theaters are open.
Right.
Or however I end up watching it. I want to just be like, yeah, man, that was really cool. Like good Halloween movie. And I think that's why I've kept myself out of like reading shit and watching shit, like people always be sending me news stories and I'm like, I delete the message instantly because I don't want to know. I want to keep my expectations to about here and watch the film and hopefully enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Yep. And you're right. And you and I have not had the greatest of lucks with Halloween movies since we've become old enough to watch them in theaters. Like, I mean, really. No, because I wasn't a big fan of H2O and
Curse,
Curse, Resurrection, both Rob Zombies, and but dude, just exactly. Don't. The important thing is, if you take anything away from what Tony and I are saying about polls, and is that just polls can be fun. But you always have to remember that it's very specific to the audience they're asking. You know what I mean? So like a poll on, on Tony's, like he said, on his Instagram page, because of all his followers, it's not an objective. It's an objective.
It would be a 99.9% victory for Halloween.
Exactly. So
it wouldn't even be it would be a landslide. It would be close.
Is it a realistic view of his followers? Yes, of course. But it's not necessarily an objective view of the entire movie-going world of what people think of movies, right? So you always have to remember who is the audience, because it's
like asking a poll. It's someone who has like a Nightmare on Elm Street fan page. If they were to do a poll, like who's the best, Freddy, Michael, or Jason? If you're following a Nightmare on Elm Street fan page, there's a 90% chance that poll Freddy's going to win.
That's right.
Reverse that to a Halloween fan page.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So that's what I was saying earlier, is that, so you look at IMDb, which is the sort of the general, people visit IMDb for many different reasons, many different kinds of movies, superhero, horror, drama, comedy, like it's not a horror website. Right? So it doesn't surprise me that the poll was A Quiet Place, because the average moviegoer is probably like, oh, I know that. Oh, I remember that. Oh, that sounds exciting. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's just because it's IMDb, so yeah, it's, they can be fun, but don't think that IMDb is like the gold standard and is telling you that this is what you should be excited about. No, you be excited about what the fuck you're excited about.
Exactly.
HNC Cobra. I've never seen that name in here before. Welcome, buddy. Sends in $2. Says, hey, Dave and Tony, missed you guys. I'm back. Well, I didn't know. Are you back under another name? HNC Cobra?
We did miss one, by the way. I want to get this for Movie Chat and More. He said, hey, can they make ends, in he quotated ends, when everyone is going to look older, all set on the same night, but if they can't shoot it, how can it work? I mean, well, they got kills done, so yeah, ends I guess does take place. When are they shooting ends?
Well, to his point, I think the only people you would have to worry about would be people. Well, no, but would be people that would age significantly in a 5 or 6 year period.
Yeah.
You know, like Julian, the young kid in the first one. Yes, that's problematic.
If you keep him in the run, that could be problematic.
That's problematic.
But he's gonna age.
Allison, you know, Karen.
She should be fine. Yeah, Karen.
Lori.
Jamie should be fine.
Michael Myers.
Jamie, I don't mean Jamie Lloyd. I mean Jamie.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, they don't. They're of an age where 5 years is not you're not going to
do much.
No. So I wouldn't worry about that.
It would
I
be
don't
the
think that's an
kid.
issue.
You're right. The only one you have to worry about would be the kid.
Yeah.
From Halloween 2018, and we don't even know, is he going to be in this? Is he going to be in 20?
I think he is in it briefly in 20
okay.
in Kills. I believe so. Yeah. Now, but that's why the Stranger Things kids, why it's such a big deal. You know, because when you're that age,
they're still doing a season 4.
When you're that age, like 13 to 17 is a huge difference, right?
Yeah.
You notice a gigantic age gap, or a gigantic growth in terms of the way you look and you
those
you
kids
sound.
now would be what, seniors in high school?
Yeah,
they gotta be.
The actors are like 18 or 19 right now.
Yeah.
So that's a big jump. But like me or Tony at 40, nearly 42, you fast forward us to 46, we're not going to look that much different.
A little grayer.
Maybe a little grayer, but we're pretty much going to look the same. You know what I mean? So yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. Wouldn't worry about that at all. But thank you very much, Movie Chat, more for the.
And it all depends on I think too, we got to keep in mind how Kills goes. That's bad English, but how Kills ends and what's it setting up for? Like, how are they going to end? Where's Halloween end? Like, I have a feeling Kills is probably going to do a combination, a hybrid of like hospital, town, just everything. You know what I mean? Like, it's still early in the evening, because when Halloween 2018 ended, I'm going to guess it's probably somewhere like in the 8 o'clock hour-ish, maybe 9 o'clock hour-ish, give or take. If this is all supposed to be taking
I see.
Halloween, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm doing it by the night. Like if this is taking place, I don't think we're gonna go into the middle of the night like it was with Halloween 281. I think this is all gonna take place on Halloween night.
Agreed.
So if I'm gonna guess the original, the 2018 Halloween film, where it ends like what's like in the town, like what's going on, it's probably like 8 o'clock still, maybe 9 o'clock ish, give or take. So it's still relatively early. So you might even still have some trick-or-treating going on. So yeah, I don't know, man. It just all depends. So I think you're right. I think as far as like, how quickly they need to go and film, I don't think they need to put the panic mode on that just yet. They can still wait another year or two. And hopefully they don't, but
yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I mean,
Scream, they filmed Scream, so Scream was able to get it done. So I don't see why they can't get it done.
Yeah. Alex Shambog says, Dave, I saw your tweet that you'd like the Halloween poster to just be the letters in orange. Can't see the studio doing this with the fans' expectations. Oh, no, of course they're not going to do that. No, I wasn't serious. I mean, I was serious and I would be totally okay with that. But I'm not under any delusions that's what, like, I'm hoping they do that or something. No, of course they're not going to do that. I just would take great joy if that ever happened, because I think it's just, sometimes people just like to watch the world burn. I know that if they did that, people would go, that's it! And I just watching guys. But you see, I'm somebody that I actually like simple things like that. They would never do that. Yeah. You can't sell a poster like that. But from a purely artistic perspective, in terms of like building suspense, anticipation, I think it would be cool. Black poster. That's it. It's all black. Right in the center, you have Halloween Kills and the Halloween text. It's in this fiery orange. Maybe there's a little bits of like, what do you call it?
You think
fire, like ambers. Maybe there's a little bit of ambers sort of maybe popping off the letters, a little bit. It just says Halloween Kills. And that's all it says right in the middle. And at the bottom, maybe it's got the date or something, or coming soon or whatever. No, and I know people have often said, that'd be a great teaser poster. Yeah, it would. But it's not going to be the official poster. But I would love it. But that's me. I'd be like, yeah, it's fucking so simple. It's like, it's perfect. It's
think
like
we're gonna get a trailer in May, or no? You know, maybe not, because you know Conjuring hasn't even released their trailer, and they're coming out on June 3rd.
I'm thinking about what I know.
And it's April 20th tomorrow.
I'm thinking about what I know and what I've been told and then I'm trying to piece things together. Do I think a trailer will come in May? I'm going to say no, but I think it's possible. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no trailer in May.
No. You think it won't be till like what, September?
I think you might get it before then. I think you'll get it before then, but I don't think it's May.
I am a little concerned with The Conjuring on that, because I mean, June 3rd is literally like, it's 6 weeks away. I mean, it is. It's 6 weeks away by calendar, and that's, you haven't given I mean, not that you can't run your promotions for a whole month in May, but yeah. I just think but then again, it's going to HBO Max, so maybe they don't really need to spend the money on the marketing for trailers, because it's not going to be really, it'll be released in some theaters, but it won't. Like, I'm even shocked that Kong Godzilla made 400 million. Like, I saw that the other day. I was like,
worldwide.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Like, worldwide. Like, I'm shocked that even that many people went to see that.
And it makes me incredibly sad that the movie theaters up here are still closed. It's like, fuck. Yeah. It didn't come from Canada, I'll tell you that.
I actually just subscribed to, because that's how I was able to, I was watching 2.5 Men before we went live, and I subscribed to Peacock because it's like $4 a month for right now. So,
oh, wow. Okay.
Then I'm like, well, if it's going to stay this price, then I don't mind hanging on to that for, you know, for a few months. And then if that's how I'm going to be, that's Halloween's going to go on Peacock, right? That's the...
I don't know. I mean, if it's distributed by Universal, and obviously, you know, Universal owns, I mean, it's not going to HBO Max, because I don't understand why people think it's going to go to HBO Max. Is Warner Brothers. Why would it
go there? Yeah,
why would it go there? It's not going to go there.
No.
But it's not necessarily going to Peacock, although they may use it as to lure people in, like how HBO Max used, you know, Zack Snyder's Justice League to lure people into that.
Sure.
So that's possible, but it also just could be PVOD. It just could be, you know what I mean? Like you just
pay to rent it. Yeah. Which sucks, because you have to pay like $20 just to rent it, and then another 20 to buy it.
Yep. So you have to remember that when somebody says it's just going to go to streaming. Now, eventually that will absolutely mean, because eventually everybody's going to have their own streaming service. You got, you know, Disney Plus, Netflix, Paramount Plus is on its way. You got Peacock, you got HBO Max. I mean, I'm sure Sony's going to get in there somewhere. And then, so eventually when somebody says go straight to streaming, it will mean one of those fucking places. But right now it can still mean just PVOD. So it's entirely possible that, you know, it could just be, you know, that, and not necessarily.
Oh yeah, dude. No, as soon as Conjuring comes out in June, I'm done with HBO Max. That's the only reason why I'm hanging on to HBO Max, because they are releasing, and that's it. I looked at the rest of their lineup for the year. I have no need to keep it. So
yeah, exactly.
And like you said, I'm not going to keep like fucking 10 different services. Like it's going to be like you're going to be spending like $500 a month. Just watch different shit.
Exactly. American Turkey Burger says, Dave, how many porn films were you in?
1,000.
Three less than you. Just 3 less than you. That's. I'm almost at you though. Almost there. I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it.
Are you kidding me? Dave and Magic Johnson, and well, that's a bad example. Wilt Chamberlain. There you go. That's a good example.
Exactly.
Dave is in competition with Wilt Chamberlain.
Wilt Chamberlain. That's exactly.
Wilt was a ladies' man.
Wilt Chamberlain. What?
Oh yeah. Look at Wilt's got some. Wilt Chamberlain's got some MVP numbers.
That's it.
Okay.
Zach Talk sends in $9.99, says, hey, Dave and Tony, what chocolate chip, I'm assuming what chocolate chip cookie with low carbs that tastes good to buy? I have no idea. And Dave, oh, here's one right there. Quest. There you go.
Quest, it's got only per cookie, it's got 1 gram of sugar, and it's got almost next to no sodium, and it's got 17 grams of protein. So that's what I.
Wow, what's the calories?
Total calorie per cookie is only 200. So
wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave
That's
and
what
Tony, chocolate chip cookie, Quest, there you go. And Dave, why do some ladies from poorer countries date ugly guys when
Mail
some
order?
ladies in America don't date fat guys? Well, I'll tell you why. Money, 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 money. You have to understand that.
You have money, you can get any girl you want.
Well, and
I'm not saying that to be chauvinist or a dick,
no. But Tony's right, and you have to remember that, you know, as a Canadian or as an American, you know, Tony, if Tony and I were to fly to Cuba, or if we were to go to, you know, some poorer country, you know, I mean, $30 to them is like, oh my God, you know what I mean? So you have to understand that the average middle-class person can look like a multi-millionaire to some of these poorer countries. So you have to remember that. And that's, you know, I mean, I'm no.
Let me rephrase
why.
that. If I was a multi-millionaire, I couldn't get any girl I wanted, but I can definitely get the gold diggers out there, and I could certainly get
Tony
girls that probably I would not have a chance with.
You've got 6 mansions. Stop.
Yeah.
You own the Mar-a-Lago, or however you pronounce it, in Florida with Trump. Just be honest. Tony's my right-hand man. Tony and I go for
actually,
the time.
truthfully, that's probably one of my biggest turnoffs to if I'm dating a girl, when I find out she's into material things. Like, I check out so quick if you're gonna try to be some type of like a Kardashian wannabe.
I couldn't agree with you more.
And you're into your Gucci and shit. I'm like, I'm done. Like,
yep.
I shop at Old Navy and I'm content.
I couldn't agree with you more. High maintenance material things. I don't care how
even if I was a
good-looking you are.
multi-millionaire, I wouldn't live that life. I wouldn't live that lifestyle.
Same.
I don't.
It's true.
I'm not. I don't.
It's true.
I don't care. This is my flaunting. This is it. this
That's
is
it, man. That's it. Movie Chat and More, £2, says, your rant vids always make me laugh. Old school. My rant videos, well, that's good. I'm glad it does, my man. I'm glad it does.
Recent Tony moron.
Oh.
Yes, I know.
Can
People
you
in the
believe-
chat comment. People in the comment section are going to say I'm saying his name wrong. I'm doing it deliberately.
Yes. Can you believe that video that I uploaded just 2 days ago has 10,000 views?
It'll have a lot more soon, I'm sure.
It is, but the thing that's so funny is that, you know, it's got more views in 2 days than the entire It's Me Billy trailer has in 3 weeks.
Well, I mean, I think given
of course, I get it. I get it.
And it's obviously very hot.
Of course, and it makes sense why. I'm not at a loss why. And by the way, It's Me Billy trailer is doing very well. It's got close to 10,000 views in 3 weeks, which is great. But it's just funny because I just laugh and I think, you know, and it goes to show you how easy it would be. And I've gained about 75 subscribers in the last day because of that. You know,
and they're going to unsubscribe and be like, how come he doesn't talk about Halloween every day?
Probably. That's probably what's going to happen. It's just funny. It's just funny how people are. I don't know if it's because it makes them feel better about their own lives or what the situation is, but people are attracted to nonstop drama. You know what I mean? Just drama. Gotta watch it. The drama. You know. Anyway, yeah. No, I did do a rant video on Tony, and I received a not from Tony. But I can't say who because I don't know if they want me to say it. But I did receive a phone call. Was it the same night? No, it was the same night. No, it was the next night. The next night that I dropped it was the following night.
He received a phone call from a Michael Corleone, someone well connected.
And it was funny because my phone, and it's nothing bad. It was nothing bad. They actually were in agreement with me. They saw the video and thought it was fucking hilarious. And they left a voicemail and I was out jogging. And then when I got back, I called them back and we talked for about 2.5 hours, and it was a great conversation. It was, if you're watching, oh man, we bond over things like that. But
that dude is such a tool. Not the dude who called you, but Tony.
No. Tony's a
tool,
or a
tool.
Yes. Yeah, yes. And the thing that's so like the thing that frustrates me is that I just. The idea of him not correcting people in referencing him as the original Michael Myers, and he's justified. He feels okay in not doing that because he was the original Michael Myers in
the original face.
no, I know, but from a semantic point of view, he was the original. Like, I get it from a certain point of view. So that's his justification, but he never makes the correction, all that. But that's old. I've been talking about that for like 4 or 5 years. That's old.
I know.
But what bugged me about that video, and there was some context that wasn't there. I've since learned a couple of things where there's some context. But the thing that bugs me is just that you're in a professional environment. You know, what are you doing talking like that? Cocksucker and, you know, derogatory terms towards gay people. And like, it's like, what are
that
you?
I was like holy shit. Like,
dude,
in 2021, you're going to make that comment about gay people?
Like,
I was like, what
it's like,
fuck?
dude, like, it's just, it's, listen, if you want to go, you want to talk like that with your buddies, you want to, you know, I can't, you're in a professional environment. You know, it's like, look, it's like, this is a small example, okay? Really small example. But like, I drop F-bombs all the time on my show, right? You know, on this channel. I'm like, because I get passionate, you know, I get theatrical. But if I was like asked to speak at a convention, or if I was at a convention, you know, and you were to meet me, I'm not going to be going, hey, what's going on, you fucker? Yeah, oh, fuck that. Yeah, I mean, fuck. Because I mean, it's the environment. I'm in a professional environment. It's not, I'm not performing. You know, I don't have to be. I can be more me. You know, not that, you know, what you're seeing isn't me, but hopefully you understand what I mean. Like, you know, when I say that.
I got you.
Yeah, and it's just like, dude, what are you talking like that for? You're saying all these things. You're saying all, like, just, you know, but that's who he is. He's got no filter, and he's got no, you know,
and there's nothing wrong with it, but I just think when you're
not in that environment, you don't insult Halloween fans and start accusing like John Carpenter of.
No, I just meant like having no filter. But I think you've got to pick and choose your filters. Like when it comes to like, you know, like sexuality, like, you know what I mean? Like, correct. It's like this isn't the fucking 80s or 90s. You don't need to be a dick towards gay people. You know what I mean?
You're bang on. You're bang on. And it's just like, you listen to a guy talking like that, and it's like, for example, if Nick Castle was to tell a story, it's because he's got class, and that's why he doesn't do it. But if Nick Castle was to tell a story about being cast, or, you know, or something like that, he wouldn't choose the words, and I bitch slapped Blumhouse in the face. Like, he wouldn't choose that vocabulary. He would choose something like, and I really gave them a run for their money, you know, or it's like, or he'd say something like, you know, and I really, you know, whatever. But Tony, he's ghetto, he's white trash, he's, you know, and it's unfortunate because, as I said on that rant, it didn't have to be that way. You know, it didn't, but it is, and he's got a lot of resentment issues, and it's just tacky to hear him using the words he's using and saying the things he's saying. Yeah. It's like, dude, you're at grow up, man. You're at it's like that uncle coming over. It's like the uncle coming to a wedding, you know, and he's sitting there and he's like, you know, and he walks up to the groom and he says something like, hey, how's it going? Oh, congratulations, man. Oh, your wife's really fucking hot. Have some fun tonight banging her. It's like, what are you doing? You're at a wedding, dude. You can't talk like that.
There's always one at those weddings.
But there's always that guy. Like I said in my rant video, I said there's always that Uncle Bob who comes over and he doesn't fucking get a clue that he's not out with his buddies. He's at a wedding or he's at a dinner. You can't talk like that. If you want to talk like that with your buddies after the convention somewhere, fine. But you can't be up there in a panel going, I'm going to do that and all that and accuse, you know, it's like, you know, and accuse John Carpenter of beating, you know, Deborah Hill and Jamie Lee Curtis being a slut. And like I said, did he? Was she? I don't know. I wasn't there. But if you don't have any evidence, those are some bombs you're dropping there. You know, like that could be liable. I'm just saying, you know, anyway.
No, you're right.
Anyway, it's that's what bothers me the most now is like the whole thing of him being I mean, we know he does.
Well, and it's obviously intentional because Halloween fans are talking about who right now.
Of course, it is. Oh yeah, of course.
He's extending his 5 seconds of fame.
That's right. That's right. And I talked about that with this person that called me who is
Michael Corleone.
That's right. Who's big in the Halloween scene. And certainly is connected, and no, it's not Jason Blum. Yeah. Me and Blum we're on speed up. No, but
it was John Carpenter.
It was John Carpenter. He called us like, Dave and
John, man. But you all don't know Dave and John. They're like this. They're BFFs.
100%. No, but it's so tacky, man. It's like, dude, what are you doing? you know, and I especially have issues with it again because I've worked in the business for 20 years and I've been to after parties, I've been to events, I've seen guys like him. You know, I've been to events and after parties where there's been celebrities, where there's been people. I've been, I've been
to a certain extent. Like there's certain lines, like I would never.
But you're not going to do that at a professional environment.
Like meaning, and when I say that, I'm saying like in the no filter. Well, you know, it's 2021. Someone's going to hear me say that. They're gonna be like, "He's saying this stuff." Like, no. Right. Yeah, I mean it in the no filter. Like I drop F-bombs, you know what I mean? Like there's obviously, I'm not going to go after gays and say the things that there's certain things that I won't say and lines that I won't cross. Right. But for the most part, I don't have a filter and I will say what's on my mind in the right environment too. You know what I mean? Like Dave said, if I'm at a professional event doing like my photography or something, you know what I mean? Like I want to work still in this business.
Yeah, that's
you know
it.
I mean?
That's well, it's the same with me. You know, I mean,
but if me and Dave are hanging out privately, fucking what the fuck is fucking
of course. But if you're at you know the baseball stadium taking photos for the All-Star game or the Super Bowl, whatever, you're not sitting there going, "Hey, thanks, man, you fucking piece of." I mean, no, you're not doing that. You know, you're not showing up to a client's home to take photos of their home. Go, thanks for having me over. Yeah, fuck, it's hot out here.
It's hot, man.
Jesus Christ, it's hotter than a new bride's pussy out here. You know, like what the fuck are you doing? Why are you saying that? You don't say that.
He probably would say that.
Yeah, he probably would because he's got no fucking filter. That's why you see people like that. The only people that really find him endearing and cool in that are and I say that are kids, you know, like teenagers, early 20s. They're like, oh, this is, you know, because they're still kind of there at that level. Anybody, you know, who's an adult, who's mature and understands the situation they're in.
Like that as a teenager, though? I mean, I was never like that.
No, I was never like no. I wasn't like that either. I'm just talking about certain types of. That's why you often see people like that. Your Uncle Bob or whoever always hanging around with the younger people because they're the ones that aren't gonna necessarily say, hey, you know what? You probably shouldn't walk up to the bride over there and say pussy. You're just saying it's probably, you know. They're not going to say that, you know, because they're probably half in the bag anyway. Yeah. So it's just the point. It just sucks. It's just like, dude, like it's so tacky to hear this shit. And he's talking like you're going to agree with him. You know, I was there, you know, and I thought Halloween was a piece of shit at first. You know what I mean? Like everybody there is going to go, yeah, I know what you mean. You know, it's like he's out to lunch. He's out to lunch. And it's sad because he could have been something really special. And his ability to market himself as the face of Myers could have been something really special.
That could have been his shtick. That's all he had to do.
That's all he had to do.
Michael Myers. That's it.
It's okay. It's okay if it was your only thing, man.
For somebody that we don't see someone's face in, you could have really owned that.
Could have been something special. But anyway, you
got some more super chats.
I do. I do. It's just so fucking ridiculous. Okay, let me see here. I got to get through these. HNC Cobra says $5. Thank you. Says, yeah, I changed my name, Dave. I'm one of your patrons. What do you expect out? The new Scream, expect out the new Scream. Well, the new Scream comes out in January 2022. And thank you for being a patron of mine, by the way. I really appreciate it. I don't know.
I just hope it to be as good as, at least I hope for it to be as good as Scream 4, because that's my favorite sequel in the franchise. So
there you go. Howard D sends in $5. Thanks, buddy. Says, hey, Dave, been off for a while. What's the status of Dylan's new nightmare? And Tony is a jerk indeed. Moran, that is. I would say, well, it's still happening, of course, but the pandemic and things happening, I can't get to the States right now. And so if they wanted to shoot right now, I couldn't even be there. So definitely I'm part of the problem, but the other problem is making sure that they shoot the film safely, securely as possible. I mean, you know, you're dealing with actors that are coming in from California. It's being shot in Arizona, obviously. I'm coming in from Toronto. There's a lot of logistical maneuvers that have to be made to make it safe and a secure set. And, it's still happening. It's just COVID has put a damper in it. The reason why we were able to shoot It's Me, Billy is because at the time...
you got in under the wire.
We got in under the wire. But that doesn't mean that there wasn't an outbreak up here. Like, we've been suffering the same problems you guys have been down there, but we only have 40 million people here. So, and we're more spread out. So it's relative to our situation. But it's still, it's still bad. And right now, Ontario is locked down. Ontario is the province that I'm in. It's locked down. And we're into our third wave in Ontario, as they're calling it. And so, yeah, we were able to shoot it, but we had to wear masks and we were on set. We had to follow, the protocols and the procedures and all that kind of stuff. And we just were able to do it. And that's what they want to do, too. They want to shoot the movie, but do what we did with It's Me, Billy. But at the time we shot It's Me, Billy, we couldn't do that. Down there. Things are just starting to get better for you guys down there. Just starting to. So hopefully maybe later this year we shoot it. Maybe early next year. I don't know.
You got to get the shot in order to travel.
Not yet, but that's coming. Yep, you're right. Movie Chat and More sends in $5 and says, Dave, you realize if Moran ever sees that, he will probably call you out? Great. That'd be great. You might have landed yourself a physical fight.
That's not fair because he'll fucking sit on Dave and fucking squish out his intestines.
First of all, I'm pretty sure that I am more physically fit than Tony Moran. I could probably take Tony Moran. That being said, I'm also 41 years old. I'm also 41 years old, and I'm not into, years ago when I was in high school and I, was lifting a lot of weights and training and I got in a few, but years ago, you could do that, and the only thing that would happen to you is you'd get suspended or detention. Now, if I was getting into a fight with somebody, I'd be charged and thrown in prison. So I'm an adult now. That's not my first go-to. Okay, I'm not about to, do that. I would only get into a fight if it was to defend myself or somebody that I loved, like my girlfriend or something like that. Like she was attacked, or something like that, as we all would. No, I would love it. I think it'd be great. If Tony wants to call me out, great. Upload a video where he's like, I think that Dave McRae is a piece of shit. I saw this video of this dumb Canadian up in Toronto or something, and he was calling me out. Listen, Dave, you're a piece of shit, okay? You're a piece of dog shit. You think that's going to bother me? I'd fucking love that. That'd be great. I'd fucking post it on my channel. That's not going to bother me. That'd be amazing. Mike Warner says, Tony Moran is way nicer than that video shows. Oh, yes, absolutely. There's lots of examples of Tony Moran being polite, professional, right? The problem is that there's another side to Tony. And trust me when I say that I know people who have direct contact with him.
Like legit people. We're not talking like just,
he's a people. Fucking asshole. So much so that he calls himself an asshole. That doesn't mean he's necessarily going to be an asshole to you, to your face, or he's an asshole to everybody. An asshole isn't necessarily an asshole 24/7, 365 without breaks, right? It's just there's a demeanor and there's a situation. There's a kind of person that Tony is. He's just not really a nice guy. But sometimes, you can go meet and go, he was really nice to me. Absolutely. For sure. And if Hitler says 2 times 2 is 4, he's not wrong. I'm not comparing him to Hitler. That's an extreme example. I'm just saying that, what we see, both things can coexist is basically what I'm trying to say. Tony can be very nice and professional when he wants to be, right? And when he's in an environment where maybe he's having a good day or a bad day, depending on how you look at it. And you meet him and he's very nice and he takes your picture and he seems, wow, that was a great experience. Absolutely. He's not like that every second of every moment, right? Both things can coexist at the same time. But when you watch the video, it's very apparent. It's like, wow, he does do this. Why? Why is he behaving this way? You know what I mean? So
I think I think in part, it also could be a narcissistic thing. He's an actor.
Yeah.
And actors, whatever they're doing, whether we agree with what they're doing or not agreeing with what they're doing, they like attention. And
Well,
half the
and
time
also,
they're going about it the wrong fucking way, but whatever. I get it. It's that's what happens when they get into this industry. And as much as they sit there and say they hate the paparazzis, there's the flip side to it. They love it as well too, because they are, I would say a vast majority of them, if not all of them, have a narcissistic personality trait to them.
right. And I think it's important. Like, obviously I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a human behaviorist, but what I do know, the little I know, like I said on that rant, I suspect that part of this is it's not that he's not being truthful. He really is this way, but he's putting on an act. He's overcompensating. He's overcompensating because he knows he doesn't belong there. Now, I don't mean he doesn't belong there, like his role,
I get what you're saying,
right? But like, for example, there's a video online from a few years ago. I don't know how long ago. Oh, actually, it's got to be a while ago because what's his face? Leatherface, Gunnar Hansen?
Yeah, Gunnar.
Is alive at this point. So it's a panel. You have Gunnar. That makes sense. Wow, it's cool, right? Then beside him him is Tony Moran. And then beside him is Robert Englund. And then beside him is Kane Hodder. Now, one of these things is not like the other. If you were Tony Moran, how fucking uncomfortable would you feel sitting up there beside Gunnar, Robert fucking Englund, and Kane Hodder? And you have 3.6 seconds of screen time. And you are up there as the Michael Myers. And then you get, and this is online, you can watch this. And then you get questions from the audience like, hello, Mr. Hansen, thank you so much. I loved you, text message. I was just wondering, what was it like working on the movie? And what was your favorite scene? That's a question. He's sitting there. He's advertised as Michael Myers, from H1. He's there. It gets to Tony, and he goes, "Oh well, and listen to his answer. It's basically the problem with Tony is that he's never owned his role. There was a video that I made 5 years ago about Tony. It was the first one I made. That it says the thumbnail is like, Tony, own your role. And what do I mean by owning your role? What I mean is that if he wasn't so worried about creating the illusion that, hey, if they don't ask, I'm not going to tell. And he corrected them, right? He actually corrected them. He owned his role, and said, well, you know what? Yes, I am Michael Myers. Yes, but I just want to make sure that you understand that I'm the unmasked Michael Myers. In like interviews, videos, on his banner behind him, it says unmasked. He's got banners that he'll have at shows that it's Nick Castle on the banner. It's like that shouldn't be there. I know it's Michael Myers.
Why was Nick not asked to do that? Because I never understood that panel. I've seen that video and why is Nick Castle not here?
Maybe because Tony Moran was there. I don't know. But here's the thing. Is that the point I'm making is that if he owned his role, he really owned his role and bought into this idea, didn't try to make himself out to be any more than he really is, right? He really just bought into it. Like how you hear him saying at the beginning of that video, I was in it for 3 seconds, man. You want my fucking... If he bought into that, but not in a jerky, tacky, fucked up way, and just was like, you know what? I'm fucking unmasked Michael Myers. Holy fucking shit. I'm unmasked Michael Myers. Holy shit.
Whoever organized that panel really fucked up and didn't do their due diligence.
Right.
That was a huge, I remember seeing that and going, man, they missed out big time because you got Gunnar, you got Robert, you got Kane. You don't have Nick Castle, or at the very least, if you can't get Nick, number 2.
Dick Warlock.
Dick Warlock.
Right.
At the very least, you could have gotten Dick Warlock. You know what I mean? I know Dick would have done it.
Well, yeah, but see, and that's my point. If he owned his role, Tony, do you think if he owned his role and everybody knew who he was, nobody was under any misunderstanding, that Tony Moran would feel uncomfortable up there? No, he wouldn't.
No, he had to make himself.
He wouldn't
put himself on the same level as the 3 other guys.
But everybody would know. The audience would know. They would know. He might even open with a quip like, I don't really deserve to be up here with these guys, but I just want to say thank you so much for having me here. And if he showed humility, humbleness, they may have turned him and go, Tony, hey man, Tony, you were there, buddy. You were in it, man. You're the face. Yep. Somebody might have turned, Robert may have turned him and been like, hey man, you deserve to be up here, man. You know what I mean? If he just showed some humility and bought into his role and not tried to make himself out to be more than he was, then he wouldn't feel the need to, at all these conventions, tell these outlandish stories that may or may not have ever happened. And by the way, the individual I spoke to the other night said half that shit never happened because the story keeps changing. He's got evidence for it. But there's just a lot, it's just sad because it's like, dude, you could have been something really special, and now you have to, because his Halloween experience is so small, he can tell his Halloween experience in like 9 seconds. And so that's why when people, so, what was it like? What was it like working with Donald Pleasance? What was it like working with Jamie Lee Curtis? What was it like working with Lexus? What was it like working with, he doesn't have enough material to tell you what it was like because he was there because his answer would be, I don't know. I was there for an evening. It was kind of cool. I met John. He seemed nice. I shot it and I left. I mean, that really, at the end of the day, is the experience, but so if he owned that and he bought into that, he would have been a cool dude, man. Come meet Nick. Maybe him and Nick Castle could sit together at a table. Wouldn't that be cool? Him and Nick Castle. You got Tony Moran. Not now, obviously, but if he had been a different person and played his cards right, you could have had a table where it's like, come meet, or come meet Tommy Lee Wallace, Nick Castle, and Tony Moran. And yeah, maybe you got to pay, for each one, but you get them right in a string there. You get, and then Tony, instead of signing Tony Moran, Michael Myers H1, he signs. You get Nick Castle, the Shape. You get Tony Moran, Michael Myers. The face, like if you just own it, but it's the way that he's handling this that rubs a lot of people the wrong way. And then he starts to be vulgar and all that on top of that. So anyway, we've talked a lot about this, but it's just, it's too bad. It's too bad. Movie Chat and More says, just saying you can't back down. Great fight. Can't back down. Trust me, I could back down. Matthew Fressy says, $4.99 says, I wonder if he's had the guts to insult the 6'8" Tyler Mane to his face. Not a fan of Tyler's Myers, but he could destroy. Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's crazy to say that. I don't know why he would say it. But see, Tyler is too much of a professional.
He is. Whether you like Rob Zombie's movies or not, you got to give credit where credit is due.
And Tyler Mane,
when Tyler and Scout and them go to the convention,
that's right,
promoting Rob Zombie's Halloween. They're professional.
That's right. Tyler Mane,
keep it professional.
If,
and he won't stoop to that level. And
exactly.
Responds,
I mean, if Tony Moran walked over to Tyler Mane and said, "Hey, you cocksucker, you F,"
Tyler would lay him out in one punch.
No. Here's the thing. I don't think Tyler would. I mean, who knows? But I could first see Tyler saying, "Tony, fuck off, get out of here." Because he's a professional. He's in a professional environment with fans watching him. You know what I mean? With other people there, his fellow actors, alum. I could see him saying, can we get security in here, please, to take this guy out? You know what I mean? Because he's a professional. Because that's what professionals do. Now, if Tony Moran leaped over the table, grabbed him in a headlock or something, yeah, you're going to defend yourself, right? Of course. But I could see, Tyler being like, oh, can we get security? Please, somebody get security here to get this loser out of here. Because that's what you do. That's a professional. You don't, because Tyler Mane's a fucking adult, So, that I could totally see, 100%. Let me see. Have I got all the super chats? I think I do. I do. We got to get. Oh, no. Reese Wilson sends in $7.99. Thank you, Reese. Says, strike while the iron is hot, Dave. Your next movie, It's Me, Tony Moran. Biopic of self-confessed asshole. Well, there was supposed to be, there was a movie. I was discussing it with this person the other night. There was a a documentary that was supposed to come out like 4 or 5 years ago called Icon, the Tony Moran story or something, some independent filmmaker. Yes, there's a fucking, look it up on IMDb, Icon, Tony Moran or something. It'll pop up. It never happened. There's a poster. It never came to fruition. I want to find who these directors are, who these filmmakers are, and I want to talk to them what happened. And the person that I was talking to the other day says 9 times, he says, I bet you $100. He didn't say I bet you $100, but he says, I bet you anything it was because Tony, it fell through because Tony's an asshole. Tony even has something like,
shit, you aren't
see?
lying.
No way, man. The fuck is that? Icon?
Okay.
That's like tossed around way too loosely. But
Dude, I got more followers than you, bro, on Instagram. So I wouldn't be sitting there calling yourself. And
I'm telling you, it's fucked up stuff. It's very strange. I don't get it. Chester Franklin Jr. says, Dave, what's your favorite scene in Halloween 3? Chester, hope you're still watching. I know you've been asking it a lot. It would be, I don't know, it maybe the question. Sorry?
No, go ahead.
Maybe the scene with the girl in the hotel room and her face turns all shit and her eyes glow and shit and stuff. I think that's a pretty cool scene.
Yeah, and you know who was asking? He asked us several times tonight. Colin, I think Colin Murdy. You were asking about buying one of my pictures. I can't sell legally. I can't sell those photos because they're copyright characters.
That's right.
That's why I'm having problems because my dude, before his print shop closed up because of COVID and went out of business, he was going to do me a solid and print those for me for free. I'm having an issue right now trying to get the 2 prints from Dave from the thing that we did because these are copyright characters.
Right.
And there's a lot of fucking red tape with that shit. And not only can I get in trouble, but the printing companies can get in trouble if they're printing off something that belongs technically the rights to the studios.
That's right.
So I have to get the legal rights to be able to do that. And once I get the legal rights to be able to do that, then I can go ahead and start selling the images. So
that's it.
And trust me, believe me, they check. Don't think they don't check them. These fuckers, they got people always spying, and I get random messages sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, okay. I always know when I feel like I'm being set up for something. It's just how the verbiage is when I'm getting these direct messages. Yeah, believe me, studio heads, they be looking at us to make sure that guys like me are not trying to milk and get some money on the side with, copyright characters.
Yep.
It's a fucking...
Movie Chat and More says, £5, says, YouTubers have been known to fight. What would you do, Dave? Let it go. Because Moran might actually go that far. I'm only asking. I wouldn't do anything. It seems like it's like, no, come on, Dave. You told it. No, I wouldn't because I'm a grown ass man. Richard, I think your name is Richard, if I'm not mistaken. If Tony Moran attacked me in an alley, I'd beat the shit out of him. If Tony Moran came up to me and said, yeah, come on, man, let's go. I'd be like, security, or I'd be like, fuck off, get out of here, right? I would defend myself as anybody would defend themselves. If you are attacked by somebody, of course you defend yourself, right? Because you got to defend yourself to get them off of you. You know what I'm saying? But I have no interest in fighting Tony Moran. I'm a grown ass man. I'm a professional working in the industry, and the last thing I need is to that to be part of my identity. That's not what I want. So no, I wouldn't fight him. Of course not. I'm not going to stoop to his level, his white trash level, and fight him. That's just ridiculous. And Tony Moran has been known to threaten a lot of people to fight. Trust me. I know. And they've all been like, I'm not fucking fighting you, Tony. Like, this is not like, we're not in junior high, grow up. Okay. Yep. I'm not going to fight you. The fuck are you doing, dude?
No, it's not even worth it. I mean, look,
we
all have moments where we lose our cool for like a split second, and then you realize afterwards, like, man, that was just stupid. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, not to steal your words, but like, what's the end game? I mean, what's the end result?
Exactly.
Okay, you get into a fight with someone, you win the fight, but ultimately, what does that even get you at the end of the day?
Well,
you know what I mean? Like,
that's it. And it's likely to cause more harm than good.
Even I've been at fault at that. I've lost my cool and said stupid shit at times, and I look at it afterwards like, man, I was a fucking idiot, wasn't I?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just dumb, and it's just like, we're at ages now where it's like, we're too old for this dumb shit.
Exactly. Well, exactly, because
we are,
like I said, if you take the mentality of, you want to fight? Yeah, let's fight. You want to fight? Yeah, let's fight. In terms of as an adult, it's not like I have nothing to prove. Right. I don't care. I don't care. You know, I just don't care. I mean, maybe you would do that.
My favorite
okay,
too.
Richard, maybe you'd do that, but I couldn't care less. I'm not afraid of Tony Moran. I'm not, you know, jumping on. With all due respect, it's ghetto. It's white trash. It's white trash. There's a YouTuber that called you out who wants to fight you. You gonna fight him? Like, no. Why the fuck
it's
would
like
I do
the
that?
people who, you know, I mean, I kind of got into it with someone like about a week ago, because I didn't really get into it. It was just like, I was just like, whatever, you know more than me about a certain movie. I'm on the Psycho film that we watched with Frank. You know what I mean? Because I didn't pick up on something, and I was just like,
like, God.
It's like whatever. Like, I mean, okay, if you know more than I do about a movie,
anybody can sit behind a computer screen and yell from the balcony.
It's like you're saying, people want to get into the drama. They want to, you know, they get off on that superiority.
Right.
I don't think that's a proper word, but whatever.
No, but I get what you're saying.
But you know what I mean? Like, they get off on that. It's like, okay, if you know more than me and this, what the fuck ever? Like, okay, like it to me, it doesn't fucking matter. You know what I mean? When I do the show with Dave, I'm not coming in here claiming to be somebody that I know every fucking little inch, you know, every little detail to every single horror movie. And damn, she's hot. Sorry, I'm distracted because 2.5 Men picked up, and I think it's Jodie Lynn.
I was like,
Jodie
what?
Lynn
Is the movie still on? I'm like, I don't see the movie.
Jodie Lynn O'Keefe it's a guest star. It's when she plays this like witch woman, and she's in this like burlesque outfit. She is fucking hot. Jodie Lynn O'Keefe was really hot back in the day.
I can't put a
She
face
was
to
in H2O. She was good looking in H2O, but she's really good looking here. Like, damn. She's wearing a nice little fucking sexy Red Devil burlesque thing, and she's chanting for Satan. Like, that's my kind of girl.
Frank Riker says Dave doesn't want to go to jail for elder abuse. Yeah, that too.
No, it's just stupid. Like, I know, I don't get the internet sometimes. I really don't. Like, I mean, like, people who just feel the need that
this is why the internet sucks.
Like,
this is why the internet sucks.
YouTube sucks.
Yeah, well, but why is because there's no accountability, you know, and that's the problem is that, and I'm not saying that, you know, all social media should be, you know, paid for, or they should all track your IP address and you only have one account. But what I'm saying is that's why. Is that, I mean, I can't tell you how many times, you know, you'll read a post on Facebook or, you know, Twitter or whatever, and you know it's a burner account. It's because because whoever it is doesn't want their name out there. The same thing happens with YouTube. I always know, like, I always find it so funny when somebody will insult me or write something negative or that they don't agree with me, and I'll look at their account and they made it like 6 days ago. And it's like, well, clearly this is somebody that isn't just tuned into me. It's somebody who's you know, either got a ton of fake. It's just ghetto. It's just lame. There's no accountability
waste your own personal time? Like, I don't. I barely watch YouTube to begin with. Okay.
No. And
if I don't like someone, I am definitely not gonna fucking watch
100%.
them.
The only time, and I say this, and I've stuck to this, the only time you'll know it's me responding because you'll see Dave McRae. It's me. And I usually only respond when I've been mischaracterized, like if it's a negative thing, right? Like I'm not going to respond to "you're a piece of shit." I don't respond to that. Okay, fine. Or sometimes I do, but I say like,
Dave.
Sometimes I respond, but I respond with like, "Yeah, I know." You know what I mean? Like I just respond that way. But 9 times out of 10, what I will respond to, and I've had to do it a couple of times actually over the last couple of weeks, is I will respond to somebody who is somebody or something that. A comment that says something that I said, which I did not say, or they are mischaracterizing me in a general sense. And I'll respond with, well, actually, no, that's not true. Because if you look at this, this, and this, and then this. But but general trolling, like, man, you never shut the fuck up. Yeah, I know. It's my job to talk. Man, you don't think, like all that shit. I don't give a fuck about that shit. I never respond to that stuff. But I have been accused of having like 5 fake accounts. And I often tell people that, you know, what you have to understand is that when you start a YouTube channel and you gain a following, sometimes you'll gain a following that there'll be a couple of people that are really big fans of yours. And sometimes they're a little overzealous and they come to your defense a lot. You know what I mean? And there's a couple of people on my channel that do that tend to come to my defense a lot. And I can understand how that might seem like, oh, that's just Dave. That's just Dave. And I'm like, no, it's not me. You'll know it's me. You'll 100% know it's me because I have no qualms with responding to somebody from my account. No issues there. But I know a lot of people have a lot of Devontae's probably got like 40 burner accounts, that he logs into. And there's others too, there's others that do it. But it's because there's no accountability. Years ago, you couldn't see, there was no social media. So if you said something to somebody, you got punched in the face because, it was you. It's not like you could show up in a disguise and go, hey, Tony, fuck you. It's like, gee, who's that? No, you couldn't do that. It was you saying that. You know what I mean? And now, there's no accountability. Anybody can say anything. Yeah, fuck you, piece of shit. There's no accountability. Where, if you were in front of my face saying that, it's a whole different story. It's a whole different ballgame. So many people say so many things that they would never say to my face or to anybody's face. And the proof of that is that they're coming from accounts that have no content or one video, one subscriber, and they just use it as an outlet, and it makes them feel better. They use it as an outlet to get rid of the rage or whatever they have, and it makes them feel better. But I have a lot more respect for people who put their face out there. I would have more respect. And I mean this. I sincerely mean this. I would have, and I think, even though I don't agree with them, I would have way more respect if somebody did a video putting their face on the video saying, I fucking can't stand that Dave McRae. He annoys me.
Isn't there a dude out there who did something not too long ago like that?
No, but it was like a computer voice and they didn't show their face or whatever. But I mean, like, somebody put your face out there. Put your face on there.
Yeah, because this shit ain't as easy as you think.
Call me out. I think that's great. Call me out and say, I don't like Dave McRae and here's why. I think he's this, I think he's that. He thinks he does this, he thinks he's that. I have way more respect for somebody that does that because they can't hide. Their face is out there. Their voice is out there. Their name, well, not necessarily their name, but they're out there. You know what I'm saying? But trolls don't do that. It's like trolls don't pay for comments,
I just don't understand. Like, it's like at the end of the day, like, if you know more, I don't get the validation part of this. Like, what are you seeking when you leave a comment that you know more than Dave or you know more than me on a certain movie or
validation?
But what, at the end of the day, what is it going to gain you in life? Not you. I mean, like the person who's leaving the comment. Like, what does it gain you in life? Nothing. I don't get it. But
it's just personal validation. They watch, and it's not like, guys, listen, I know I'm an acquired taste in terms of I can be theatrical and opinionated and loud. And, there's a lot of people. You should see some of the comments I got on my, Tony Moran vid. There's a few in there that are like, this guy's fucking annoying as hell. That shit never bothers me. It doesn't bother me. What bothers me, I don't say bothers me, but what I do respond to is that if I'm genuinely mischaracterized. He just said that Tony Moran was a, derogatory term towards a. Nobody said that, by the way. But if somebody did say that, I'd be like, I didn't say that. You know what I mean? So I will always respond in that sense. But I think they're looking for validation. And I think it's sad, really. And I don't say this like it is sad. Thankfully, 99% of the time, I don't get that kind of stuff.
You know what? Here's the thing. At the end of the day, you're still you. I'm still me. Dave's still Dave. Nothing changes.
Nothing changes.
Just because you know something more about me and
nothing changes.
Psycho, well, whatever. It's like nothing's gonna change. You're still you. I'm still me. And okay.
Yep. And I think it's amazing if there are people out there that I know more about that movie than those guys. Well, that's great. Then start a fucking channel and put a video up talking about it, man, because that's what I did with Halloween. I started talking about Halloween because nobody was talking about the shit that I wanted to talk about. Nobody was talking about the layers and the psychological, the psychological layers and the symbolism and the original intent, of Halloween and, what it really means and how that's really like that and all that. Nobody was talking about that. Everybody was just talking about, not there's anything wrong with that. And when I say everybody, I mean people that, you know, I saw. There could be somebody out there. But I was like, nobody's talking about this. Nobody's talking about the original intent of the movie and how it was like this and all the deep-seated, you know, symbolism that's kind of there. You know, if you look at it like this, nobody was doing that, right? I remember when I came onto the scene, that was what I was talking about, and I was doing all this, and people found it refreshing and interesting, or, you know, whatever it was. At least that's what they tell me. You know, but that's what it was. I didn't sit there going, you know, I know more than you. I didn't jump on some Halloween channel and go, no, I made my own fucking channel. You know, now, is it because I'm an actor, and it because I'm not afraid, and because I'm theatrical and I talk for a living? Yes, obviously having those skills already helps. If you are naturally introverted and shy, you are more likely to take to the keyboard than you are the camera. I understand that. But at the end of the day, do it. I have much more respect for people who put themselves on camera and call me out or talk about things that I don't know about than I do anybody saying, well, you know what? It's like, okay, what am I supposed? Okay, well, I hope, great, you know? So yeah, it's crazy, but there are a lot of, but there are a lot of people but as I said, thankfully though, Tony, we very rarely get that on this channel. You know, it's once in a blue moon, thankfully.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we should leave it. Oh, wait. Movie Chat More says, Tony, we're cool with the Voorhees tombstone. Oh, well, that's good. That's good. Good stuff. And yeah, I guess that's it. Okay, that is going to do it. We got to skedaddle. Holy shit. This was a hell of a stream. 3 hours and 10 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for episode 108 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. Thank you to my incredible moderators, Frank Riker, Tabitha Shore, Darren Sands, Chris Baber. You guys are amazing. Thank you to all the amazing Super Chat questions that came in today. You know we love you guys. You guys are awesome. To the non-Super Chat questions, of course. And remember, though, folks, always remember, Super Chat questions obviously always have to be read first, but always know that if I didn't get to your question, your regular one, it's never personal. Tony and I, you know, the chat room's moving. Keep asking. Keep trying every week. We'll get to you eventually. Tony, any last things you want to say before we skedaddle?
No, good show. Interesting remake. Needless to say, we made it through it, and yeah, we'll be back next week. Jason in outer space, Jason X.
Yeah. I have no idea. I have no idea what we're gonna do next week, but we'll be back.
We should do Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah.
The greatest Friday of them all.
All right, guys, take care of yourselves. Cheers.